You are now our host, right? Are you streaming already? Yes. Okay. Celebrate you. Good morning, Sister Ola.
Okay, I think I'm muted. I'm here now.
Okay. Good morning.
Why did I think that this name Ola was a man?
Oh, it's easy to assume though. So,
Goodness gracious.
You're looking so
morning,
beautiful.
You are looking, oh my goodness.
Oh, thank you.
And we should just be beholding your face. Don't turn off your
I hear you.
No, she's our host now. She can't turn off her camera.
Aha! You're looking the parts. Nice to meet you.
Yes, that's Minister Sheo. So,
admin rights so that you can have control.
admin rights. Okay.
Yes, so that you can have control.
Okay.
Who am I making host?
Yes.
Yes, I'm making her host, Sister Ola.
Why do I feel like I'm hearing Yinka's voice somewhere, but she's not on
Yes, Sister Nika is here on WhatsApp.
I
Inkles.
celebrate you. Oh no, my leader, I greet you.
So
Inkles. I celebrate you too. Good morning.
I celebrate
Okay,
you.
Ola, I'm going to give you host access now.
Okay. Okie dokie.
I'm going to give you co-host, so
Okay.
I've done that.
Okay. So you give Sister Nika co-host and myself.
Yeah, when she joins, she's not on the
She's
call.
not on call yet, so that's fine.
Yeah, so just don't worry. Continue with Ami.
Okay.
Continue with Ami. So I can send this profile to you.
Okay, so yes, I haven't received the profile.
Yeah, I'll send it now.
Once I have that, we should.
Like I said, this one because all of this studies that I had.
Can you mute? Okay.
Yeah, we have people joining now. So.
Trophy to you. Going through a storm, but I won't slow down. I hear your voice, with the glory. You
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Feel free to turn on your videos if you're comfortable.
Good morning, everyone. Looks like my camera is showing half of my face.
Good morning, welcome. It's still morning, so explains why I have a bit of a huskiness in my voice, so pardon me until it clears off. And I'm thinking maybe we do a bit of quick intros while we'll get all set up, but we will open up first with a quick prayer. Is Minister Sharon here? I think she is.
Yes, I am.
Okay, if you could help us with a quick prayer as we get started, would appreciate it. Thank you.
Father, we give you praise. We exalt your name for this morning. We thank you for your grace and we thank you for your mercy. Thank you because it's your desire that we be in health and we prosper, even as our soul prospers. Thank you for this day because you will enlighten our path on our career journey in this land. Thank you because you are raising us as kingdom influencers indeed in the marketplace. We ask, oh God, that as we start today, you would open our hearts, you would answer the questions we have in our hearts, you will give some of us clarity on our career journeys, and through our hosts, through our speakers, people will get answers in the name of Jesus, and your name indeed will be glorified at the end of this session. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for in Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Minister Sean. Before we get started, I know we have a couple people, we're 20 of us here. If we could do quick roundtables, just quick introduction as we get all things set up, your name, where you're joining from, and maybe one thing you're hoping to take away from this session today would be great. So on my side, I have Sister Christiana as the first person, like quick ones if you can.
Good morning, everyone. I celebrate you. My name is Christiana Nora, and I'm hoping to, out of the session, be able to use my story to give someone clarity, hopefully extend clarity to someone on their own journey.
Thank you. We can skip our speakers, but Sister Cheka, you're next. What are you hoping to take out from today? And just a quick intro from your end would be great.
Okay, for me, quick intro. My name is Minister Chaka, and I'm a HR and program management expert. What am I looking to take out from the session? Like the session focus was, clarity. So I'm looking to get a lot more clarity on certain aspects career-wise. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Sister Gogo is next on my screen. I'm just going by whose name I see next, so not in any particular order.
Hi, good morning. Celebrate you all. Yes, so for me, you can't get enough knowledge. So I'm hoping to leave this session with tools that would make me better in the workplace. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm hearing a few common themes, but we'll get to it. I am not sure who is here. I see CC. So if you can help and just come up if you're comfortable. Quick intros, one thing you're expecting to take out. Okay, I will move to the next person. I see Favor Rock, I believe. Okay, we'll keep things going. But if there's anything I've heard this morning, it's clarity. But I thought, so I'm not a rude moderator. Maybe I do a quick intro of myself. My name is Ola Adediji. I work as a human resource professional. And so I wanted to say to everyone here, welcome to the CareerLeap weekend. I've had a few common themes with everybody today. It's clarity. We're hoping that we get a good sense, but I'm sure that, and I don't know where everybody is calling from, but I can imagine that the most of us here are probably in Canada, somewhere in North America. And I'm sure that at some point you may have felt sometimes, if you do work yet, you probably have felt, am I doing the right things? Am I integrating well into the culture? Do I have clarity on where I think my career should be going? Lots of immigrants you would find had good careers prior to coming to the new locations. And now that they're here, it's more what should I be doing? How am I sure that I'm taking the right set of directions in terms of where I need to go? All of those, we're hoping that this session will help you answer and even more. We have three panelists from today taking very different sessions and different topics. We have a session on career clarity on how you will discover your career path in Canada. So if you do fall within that bucket, I would say pick out your pens. For me, as a good way, I always believe that whatever you write down, you tend to retain more. And I believe there are probably quotations and all of those things that support it. But if there's something I want to ask everybody to do today is to go back, get a pen or get a computer or an electronic device, just something to help you make sure that you're taking out notes from today's session. Would be one tip that I want to share with everyone. So our first session will be on career clarity. Second would be on career growth. So if you're already, clear about where your career should be, you're in there, but again, you need to grow, you need to advance in the workplace. This session would help you answer lots and lots of questions there. And our third will be on workplace culture. So yes, you're in Canada, you need to integrate, you need to be able to feel the unspoken things that get said at work, you need to blend in, but also still maintain your identity and all of those pieces. That session would help you answer, just helping you understand the Canadian workplace culture. So we have all of those lined up with three fantastic and amazing panelists today, and we'll get into each of their profiles as they come up. I believe that Sister Christina Nora is our first speaker today. I'll do some very quick intros, and then we will get things started. But like I said, if you haven't done that yet, I would give a 2 minutes break so we all go get something to write on before we get started. So if you don't have your writing material, I would suggest you go get that in 2 minutes, and then you come back and just be ready to soak in all the knowledge. So in 2 minutes at 9:14 exactly, we'll get the intros going. Thank you. While we're waiting to have everyone come in, can you go ahead and just give me a thumbs up or a reaction if you have your writing material? Just a quick thumbs up, a quick reaction. Okay, I'm seeing a few comments. I don't want us to leave CareerLeap weekend and feel like, oh, it was so inspirational. And then somebody says, what did you learn? And you're not able to remember one thing. So it's always good that you put things down. Okay, I see a couple of good reactions. Okay, hoping we have everyone back. Okay, so it's about 9:15. And we'll get to it right away. Welcome back. I'm hoping everybody has their writing materials. And Sister Nora is our first panelist for today, our first speaker for today. I'll do a quick intro just to get a sense of what she's going to be talking about, and also just so we get to know a bit about her. Her name is Nora Nwapudike, and I apologize if I murdered the name. She works in tech, and she loves to help businesses make their systems easier for use and a lot less frustrating too. And most of what she does is to take messy or complicated processes and turn them into something that actually makes sense for people who are using it on an everyday basis. She spends a lot of time working with different teams, understanding how they work, and finding ways to make things smoother and more efficient. She enjoys solving problems, figuring things out, and building solutions that people can actually find helpful. At the end of the day, she likes knowing that the work that she does has helped somebody do their work better. And who else is better suited to have the session on career clarity today except Sister Nora? And she will be hosting us, or she would be speaking through discovering your career path in Canada. Like I said, make sure that you have your writing materials together. And as she goes through her discussion, I urge you to also put down your questions so that once she is done, we can take questions. If you do have questions that you think cannot wait, so that we don't interrupt the flow, I would urge you to put that in the comment sessions. And so once we've wrapped up her session, I would go through the questions and we will keep going from there. So the mic is yours, Sister Nora. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much, Sister Ola. Good morning, and I celebrate everyone on this call. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please. I will stop sharing so you can. Okay.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So, good morning. I celebrate everyone on this call. I'm humbled and honored to be here sharing my transition journey with everyone on this call. My name is Nora Nwabudike or Christiana Nwabudike, depending on your love level for me. You can choose whichever name you want to call me. And I'm a kingdom influencer. But in the marketplace, I am a senior Salesforce administrator and CPQ specialist at a social media organization called Hootsuite. Before that, I was in the financial service industry. But today is not about me. It's about you. But before I go on, I would like to put out a disclaimer that I am not a HR professional. Luckily for us, we have awesome HR professionals on this call, so they will checkmate me if I step out of line. My aim here today is to share my journey in the hopes that something I say resonates with you, it gives clarity, it validates what you already know that you're probably struggling with, or it probably helps you take that bold step towards making that career pivot that you've been considering all along. So I'll get right into it. I want us to take a moment and read through the questions I have on the screen. And just out of curiosity, you don't have to show of hands, but I'm wondering which of these questions resonate with you today, where you are today on your career journey. Are you wondering if, and one more thing, sorry, I transitioned into tech, and since I am the guinea pig in this story, I would mostly be talking about tech transition, but I believe it cuts across different industry, regardless of what industry you're looking to transition into. I think these are just kind of valid things that are applicable across board. So if you're looking to transition, where on that journey are you today? Are you wondering if that career you're about to get into, that ecosystem you're trying to break into, if it's the right fit for you, if you have the right skills to get into that ecosystem, if it's even the right time, you probably feel, and I recognize on this call, there are people with wealth of experience and knowledge across industries. And some of them might be wondering moving to Canada if they should stay on the course of what they've always known or do something new.
Sister
I'm
Laura,
young.
can I pause you
Yes.
for a minute? Can I ask that you please zoom out your screen? I just want to be sure that we can all see it, and also maybe take up the notes part, like just so we can see the actual.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm probably sharing the wrong screen.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping me, because I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, wait. Take out the notes. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my screen.
That's fine. I'm sure we can take a minute and take some water break while we wait for you.
Absolutely, that would be great. So what screen can you see now?
Yes, the right one. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. And I just gave out my keynotes, but it's okay. It's all right. Life happens. Anyways, as I was saying, where on this career journey are you? For me, prior to moving to Canada, I had no tech knowledge, no tech background. I worked as the head of operations for a one-man business, heading operations. So I was very familiar with all things operations, but the best tech tool we used was Excel. And it was literally whatever I go out and learn in Excel. My older sister is great with Excel. So sometimes I'll call her, ask her questions, and go and apply that knowledge at work. So moving to Canada as a student, I knew I wanted to do something else, but I wasn't sure what it was. I like to put things together. I like to see things work. I like to see things go easy, make things easier for people around me. So it was something that was important to me, but I also didn't know where to apply that thing I liked until I spoke to a career coach, and she introduced me to Salesforce, the ecosystem where I work today. And that was how I started my journey on Salesforce. So I said all of that to mean that regardless of what you're doing today, your experience is valid and transferable to whatever other career journey you're thinking to pivot into. For me, it was taking my operations knowledge into the tech space, and I found that it was a great strength for me. It wasn't a hindrance, it wasn't a weakness, but instead it gave me leverage and it helped me transition easily. So this is a quick snapshot of my career journey. Like I said, I started off my career as an operations person. And then moving to Canada, I have transitioned from that person that only knew operations and getting things done through phone calls, imputing data into Excel spreadsheets, and just having wealth of information and data sitting across different spreadsheets, to the person who I am today in the market space, bringing that operations knowledge into the tech space. Now I have worked across different aspects of the ecosystem I joined. I found that for Salesforce, the space where I work, hiring managers are not just big on technical knowledge. They like it when you have the business understanding of things and you can find a way to marry that with tech skills. So for me, having a strong understanding of operations and being able to find the middle ground to marry tech, this new, wonderful, awesome skill that I'm learning, and everything I have always known about a business workflow, a business process, bringing them together and making it work for me was the advantage I had when I was looking to transition. I built a brand. I'm honestly one of those that consider myself a brand in the marketplace. Transitioning, in my opinion, is not easy. And it's like every other thing. It's strange. There were days where I wanted to knock my laptop on the wall. There were days where I didn't understand a single thing I was being taught. In fact, I remember when I joined my boot camp, the first 1 month, everything they said sounded like gibberish to me. I didn't understand it. I couldn't make sense of it. But persevering, pushing through that fear, pushing through that misunderstanding, pushing through that, is this the right choice? Did I make the right career choice for myself? Isn't it too late? Plus, I'd like to say that I'd mentioned I don't have tech skills. I didn't have tech skills prior. I also didn't even have a degree. So it's not like I learned computer science and then ended up, if you know our Nigeria workspace, you can learn computer science and end up being a banker. That wasn't my case. I My first degree was in international relations. I came to Canada and I studied organization management. So I have never really used a tool. I didn't even have the experience of working in a formal, structured environment before I made this change. So what I'm trying to say is, regardless of where you are today, I believe the first step is setting your goals, understanding what you want for yourself, because that would help you on the days that it's tough to push through the pain, push through the resistance, the fear, and keep working towards your goals, even on those hard days. That was what worked for me, recognizing that I wanted more. I found this ecosystem that seemed great. It was confusing, but I also did know that I wanted it. I really wanted to know how it was going to work for me. So the objective was to find a common ground between the experience I had and build my brand. That experience was my differentiator in the market space. Everyone everyone in, so we could be in the same industry, healthcare, for example, but it doesn't mean that we work in the exact same space. Even if we work in the exact same hospital, our departments could differ. So the experience I get, or the experience you get from every phase, every level you are today, is very relevant. Whatever skill you have there, you can totally transfer to this next phase. For me, it was transferring my knowledge into tech. Then it came to the strategy that I used. I said it over and over again that finding the common ground between the business I knew and these new skills was what worked for me. But there's also room for researching that field, understanding it, going for the certifications that are low-hanging fruits. For me, in the Salesforce ecosystem, there are so many certifications. I currently have 12. I set a target for myself. I set a goal for myself to write 3 certifications every year. But even when I don't meet those goals, I don't feel bad. I mean, one certification is $200. So 200 USD safe at that. But point is, while I have these goals, it's helping me build a portfolio. It's helping me enhance the brand that I am. I consider myself a brand, and I'm trying to sell my brand to every hiring manager I speak to. And even when I get the job, I try not to let dirty stain my white brand, because I like to continue to grow. So that certification I set for myself is for me. There are organizations that will pay for your certifications. I have never allowed any organization. I'm not saying do it, but personally, it's my journey. So I don't go in taking a certification because I know my organization will pay for it. I pay for it because it makes me responsible and take the learning curve that needs to be taken seriously. If I have an organization paying for it, quote unquote, I might not be serious and just feel like, it happens, it doesn't happen, the organization will not kill me. But when I pay with it for myself, with my money, I'm totally responsible for it. And that's just my way of doing it. So writing certifications, doing learning, getting hands-on practical. After my boot camp was I attended a boot camp to learn Salesforce for, it was a 6-month program, 3 months learning and 3 months internship. But while I was doing that internship, I started to bring the knowledge, the business knowledge. So every time I was in class, my head, when I started understanding what was going on and how to build things, my head was always going, oh my God, if I had this tool, I would have been able to do this at work easily. I would have been able to do that at work easily. So after my training, what I started to do was I started to build for myself. I started to acquire that hands-on practical knowledge I needed to speak about in interviews. I started to actually do them. Great thing, Salesforce has a learning platform where they give you tools to do practical. So having access to that was very helpful for me. So what I kept doing was I kept building out something that would have helped my previous life, that would have made my previous life way easier. I started to build automated emails that were going out to customers, frictional customers. But when I walked into the interview and spoke about my experience that I did not have hands-on, it would be hard to convince the hiring manager that I had never really done it. So when I speak about building a brand, it takes a lot of work. It took a lot of work for me, but it's helpful to build a brand. It doesn't help that you do a boot camp and just walk into an interview. Having realistic hands-on experience. Also, because I was speaking about something I was very, very comfortable and familiar with. And I was only just marrying this awesome tool that I just learned with the business I have always known. It made my life in that interview room way easier. So at the end of the day, please don't dump the career you're coming from and trying to pivot into. I would give a little bit gist about what Salesforce. I've said Salesforce. I'm not going to elaborate so much on it, but just to give you an idea in case you're considering tech. And I'm honestly totally very biased. I consider Salesforce an easy way to get into tech. Someone else might argue with a platform they are familiar with, but maybe because I'm familiar with Salesforce and given my background and my journey coming from a totally, absolutely no tech background into tech, it wasn't easy. I had to do a lot of learning. I had to apply myself. I am a strong believer in God will bless the works of my hands, but it says the work. So to me, my hand has to do a work. I start with prayer, I end with prayer. In between, I apply myself. I do a lot of learning. I'm actively volunteering to stuff because I see it as an avenue to learn what I probably don't do. Because another thing that happens is even when you transition and you get the job, because you work for an organization, it kind of keeps you focused that you don't see things happening outside of that your immediate environment. So I like to volunteer within communities to do stuff that takes me outside of the norm and outside of my work. I consider it again as continuing to build my brand, continuing to enhance my brand, that when I'm speaking to people, I am worth the money I'm asking them to pay me. Salesforce is a CRM tool. When I say Salesforce, your mind is probably going sales, and you're not totally wrong. But that's just the surface, because behind every sales, behind every buying and selling, there's the human being, there are the people behind the scene doing that transactions. So what Salesforce does is it provides a cloud platform where you can keep data about your customer, that people have your employees have holistic understanding of each of your customers. That way they can provide better services to them. Salesforce is not just a tool that is used only in buying, like organizations that sell physical products or services. It literally can be used anywhere, even in church. I'll paint a picture for you. It's good. It will be a great feeling that on your birthday, Apostle reached out to you, even though you've never told Apostle directly your birthday. That's kind of what Salesforce does. It ensures that the people that need information about other people that they interact with have that information at hand, and they can reach out to them, provide good services to them, personalized services. Within the Salesforce ecosystem, there are so many clouds. There are so many things you could do. I am currently an admin. I tried my hand in product ownership last year. I took a course last year in product ownership, but I realized it's not for me. I like to do things with my hands. So I jumped out of that. Now I'm learning how to code. I would also like to state that to transition into Salesforce, you don't necessarily need to know how to code. I don't know how to code. I'm learning how to code. The Salesforce platform, as admins, provides you the ability to just click and move things around and you're fine. So in case you're considering that. I didn't have like a 5-year plan. I started to take steps, one foot in front of the other. I did certifications. I have mentioned that I started to do hands-on practical things. with relatable examples around me, you can literally build. I even built a job tracker for myself on the Salesforce platform when I started applying to jobs. What that did for me was even the things that I wasn't taught during my boot camp, because I was trying something new, it was forcing me to do more research. It was forcing me to learn new things that they probably didn't talk about in the boot camp, and I was good for it. So talk to someone. I have a mentor in the ecosystem that I speak to when it gets difficult. He also kind of guided me when I started this journey. So I'm not saying don't have a long-term plan. I'm simply saying in that huge long-term plan, make sure you're putting one foot ahead of the other and not just trying to jump and get to the top almost immediately. Honest part. Imposter syndrome is a real thing. I don't know if my sister is on this call, but she can testify. Oh my God, there were days I woke up in panic. At some point, I had to leave my house and I went to stay over at her place so I could have her family and have people around me, because I was almost always panicking every day I had to go to work. Not because I didn't know what to do, but because I felt like a fraud. Every day I woke up, I would ask myself, is this the day that they know that they made a mistake? That this girl they hired does not know anything about this platform. She has never really done hands-on. She's just a big talker. I dealt with that for a while until I spoke to, by the grace of God, I spoke to my mentor, and he painted a picture for me that I'm going to paint today. So while I went into the interview and claimed all the experience I claimed and spoke and got myself that job, I also have to recognize that just because I say I know the platform doesn't mean that I know how their platform is built and how their platform should work for them. So asking intelligent questions is not a crime. Just asking questions generally is not a crime. Just don't ask silly questions that make you look like a rookie. Make sure when you're asking questions, you're going to them, asking them questions that are relevant to their business process and not the tool, how the tool should work for them, because how the tool should work for them is your responsibility. And when I started to apply that at work, I noticed that I felt more comfortable. And by the grace of God, I had a product owner at the time that is quite difficult to please. She had trust issues, and I don't blame her because she's passionate about her job. But when I started to apply that and ask more intelligent, specific, business specific questions and not tool related questions, because knowing the tool was my responsibility. And thank God for AI and Google and all of that stuff we have today. You can literally find whatever information you need about a specific tool. But knowing how to ask how that tool should work was what helped me. On the topic of the job title matters less, I would say that is absolutely true. I put it there because it was my experience. When I took my first sales job, because it wasn't a six-figure job, my mentor told me not to take it. But in my scale of priority, what was important to me was getting that hands-on experience. While I was a good talker on the first round, I want to be able to truthfully, with 110% confidence, speak about this tool and how I was going to make the life of that organization better. So at that stage, the money they were going to pay to me wasn't my priority. And it wasn't like it was bad. So to me, just because it wasn't six-figure wasn't my problem. I just wanted the structure, because again, remember, I didn't have a professional structure from the start of my career. So it was important to me to get that, because I needed to learn how to work under hierarchy. I have never experienced that. I came from a background where I was the alpha and the omega in the organization. The only person that could talk to me was my boss. And sometimes he was missing in action. So my priority at that point was to get that hands-on experience. So I took the job. Down the line, the day I left, everyone on the call was crying. Again, branding. I made sure that even though I had issues at the start, I dealt with imposter syndrome. I made mistakes, obviously, because again, I was new to the ecosystem, but I got myself to the point through learning and applying myself where I became almost indisposable to that organization. When I said I was moving to Calgary, my organization is fully based in Saskatchewan. But my manager went in to speak to HR to give me 6 months to work fully remote from Calgary just to explore and come back to them. But I told her I had made up my mind to move fully and I wasn't coming back. And that was how I left that organization. Having a community on this journey when you're flipping careers is very, very, very important. I belong to a community, a Black community of IT professionals. And when I started the job and it was hard, when I get tasks that I didn't even understand the length and tail of it, I would go back to this community, ask for help, and there were people that were willing to offer me help and guidance in learning and understanding the platform. Now, on the flip side, I try to be that person for other people coming into the community. Specializing and all of that is when you find that career path. I always feel like the ecosystem is big. Even in nursing, there are different types of nursing. You need to understand which of these specific ones do you really want to go into and fall in love with it, because there are going to be hard days. In summary, everything I've said is just to say, explore that career, that space you're trying to get into. Find the low-hanging fruits and go for them and start to build from there. Get certified where you want to get certified, when you can and where you can. What certification does for you is it just adds another badge for you. It gives you leverage. Trust yourself, trust your process. On the hard days, remember your why. Always keep your why in front of you, why you're going on this journey, what you hope to achieve from this journey, and continue to advance. Like I said, every year I try to set a certification goal for myself to take 3. I didn't take anyone last year, but instead I flipped that to take a 6-month course in product ownership. So continue to learn, continue to apply yourself, build a strong brand around yourself. That's a reflection of where you're going to and where you're coming from. And that brings me to the end of my gist. I hope something I said helped someone and I didn't just waste your time being on this call. Thank you very much for listening to me. Sister Inta. Oh, Sister Ola, over to you.
Thank you. Can I see all of the reactions before we even say anything and, keep things going? I just wanted to say thank you. I have my notes just all full because there was lots and lots, and it's interesting because I'm not exactly at the start of my own career here, but there's still very valid things to take out. So I can imagine that everyone got quite a number of things. I mean, I can go over some of my notes. One of the initial pieces is that your experience is valid, regardless of what it is you're bringing on. So do not should sell yourself or get into Canada and feel like, oh my God, I don't know anything, or you're starting from scratch. And I like the part where you emphasized a lot on branding. Outside of my day-to-day, professional branding, I believe, is very critical. And I love how you say, as an individual, you need to see yourself as a brand. And you're constantly selling that as you meet with hiring managers and leaders in your organization every day. Research the field, understand it, take certifications. I should also say kudos to you, 12 certifications, and that's a whole lot. So well done, Sister Nora. And I mean, I can keep going with my notes, but I am sure that a couple of people probably have questions. And so if you do have questions, feel free to drop them right in the chat room, or, if you feel like you have a sonorous voice and you want us to hear it, just go off mic. If you just raise your hands and we could take you off the mic so you can ask questions. But thank you so much. That was such a rich session. And thank you for walking us through your journey, but ultimately sharing lessons that we all can take away. And I'm sure that somebody who is listening has gotten 1 or 2 insights to help even make their career clarity go from where it is today to a better place. So let's see if anybody has got questions.
You have a question.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you, Sister Christiana, for that insightful talk. I've heard about Salesforce before, and I know somebody that transitioned into Salesforce, but just somebody on this call. Can you just give us a brief intro or a brief description on what that platform does? I know you touched a little bit on it, but just in case somebody wants to transition into that, and you mentioned that it's also a good way to go into tech. So let's just understand what 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 is Salesforce all about, and what is the easy way to put your head there if you want to go into Salesforce.
Thank you very much, Brighter. So, like I said, Salesforce is a cloud platform that organizations use to manage their relationship with their customers. So, getting into the Salesforce ecosystem, Salesforce made it really easy. So you don't need to go to a boot camp to learn Salesforce, but you do need to apply yourself wholly and totally to the process of learning it, because what attending a boot camp would do for you is someone is speaking and explaining elaborately all the long tests you have to read on those websites. Somebody is showing you, because I find that when I was going on this journey and I was only in the Salesforce learning platform, doing it step by step, I would do it, but I couldn't literally see what was taking form. I couldn't tell the difference between what I did and what the result was going to be. Attending a boot camp and having somebody explain and telling me where to look to see that what I clicked here changed something else somewhere, it was very helpful for me. If you're looking to go into Salesforce, I did not consult my senior orga. There's something we're doing currently right now with Salesforce so this is an open invitation. Come and help me. There's something the church is doing right now that I'm looking for help with. So I'm totally open to starting this journey with someone. Like I said, I belong to a huge community of Black Salesforce professionals where we kind of try to give back after we've learned. Since learning, I have gone back to teach twice. I try to do it depending on how flexible my schedule is. But in getting into the ecosystem, the first thing you need to do is learn, do your research. There's a wide array of things to do. I talk, and I know it's surprising, I kind of like to gist a lot, but I would never do a business analysis role because it entails a lot of documentations, and I don't like documentations, even though I need to do it, because while I build, I need to document what I build so someone else can take over and do it when I'm not there. But the detail of documentation business analysts need to do is different from what I need to do as a technical person. So it entails being in a lot of meetings. I don't like meetings. I like to build. So understanding the ecosystem and knowing what works for you, regardless of the amount of money they pay business analysts, and they tend to pay them well, more than Salesforce admins, I would never take up a business analyst role. So research the ecosystem, find what works for you, find an affordable boot camp, because some of the boot camps are actually expensive, I won't lie. Find an affordable boot camp, apply yourself, start to learn from where you are today, start to apply the real world. Everybody uses CRM. It might not be Salesforce, but on your job today, I promise you, you're using a CRM. That platform where you go in and you enter a customer's first name, last name, email address, and phone number. It's a CRM. Even if it's Excel sheet, you're only using Excel as a stand-in for your CRM. So start to apply that day-to-day you do today to the learning course you're now getting into. I hope that answers your question. It wasn't a long answer.
Thank you so much. Okay, I have one more hand up, Sister Biola Kubata. Please, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sister Christina. You just mentioned what I wanted to ask you about, because you talked about CRM. I know some organizations use CRM. I've used that back from Nigeria when I was MTN. We use it to manage customers' data. So my question is, Salesforce admin, are they the one in charge of the application from the back end? Because you also mentioned being an admin.
Yes, absolutely. Salesforce administrators are the person that make that interface you go in and enter first name, last name work. So even that CRM you were using back home in Nigeria, somebody was making, you could wake up one day and find a field on the form that wasn't there before. It was someone that put that field there. Someone is controlling how many people should be able to enter first name in the entire system. So even though I have access, you have access, when we put a new field or a new line to take information on that form, should everybody have the ability to put names or enter information into that place? Should everybody even know that that line of information exists in the entire organization? So that's what I do. It's a journey that keeps going. It doesn't stop, because as the business grows, they want new things. They have new information they want to gather. They have new insights that they want. They want a better way to relate with their customers and keep their customers happy. So it's a journey that keeps going. I mean, that's why I have video. We keep growing. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Do we have any other question as we try to wrap up this session with Sister Nara? Hey. Thank you so much, Sister Nara. Just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for... Did somebody try to... Okay, just wanted to be sure I wasn't interrupted. But thank you so much for sharing your experience and your journey and helping us see valuable lessons to help with career clarity on our side. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And so transitioning now to the second session that we have today. Interestingly, Roy Toro, as we had his voice already when he asked the last question. So I will just do a quick intro of his piece and we will get things going. But again, thank you. I kind of feel like Sister Nora's piece helped us get clarity on career direction and how you can get into things. But the question is, when you then get the job, how do you grow on the job? So now you have the job. What do you do to move from point A to point B? How do you get some upward movement, either within your organization or within other organizations within your ecosystem? All of those pieces would be what Broitoro will help us answer to today. But before I get there, I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of Broitoro's background. So Broitoro is a security architect specialist. He started his career in Canada as a train conductor with CPKC, where he worked for 6 years. As he began raising his family, he needed a more stable and predictable career, which led him to transition into cybersecurity. And he joined 3Ls Health as an information management special analyst, where he continued to support the implementation of an information security management system to strengthen their practices. Today, he works with Sask Power as a security architect, providing cybersecurity expertise to support the business and technology decisions. Broitoro, thank you for honoring today. And so we would have you take on your piece. I'll stop sharing my screen just in case you have anything to share on your end.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to share my screen too. Can everyone see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let me just say something here. So when you were giving the introduction about me, my head was like, is that really you, Itoro? Oh my God. I'm like, is that really you, security specialist? But yes, that is what intentionality, determination, doggedness can do. So my name is Itoro, as everyone has heard. When I got the invitation to speak today, I was a little bit skeptical about speaking. Not because, just because I don't like to speak in places like this. I'm not used to it. I'm not a HR professional and stuff like that. But I said to myself that if God would help me transition and I have an opportunity to share my story anywhere, I will always do that. And that is the reason why I'm here. I'll be talking about how to take control of your career growth, especially here in Canada, mapping it to myself and my career journey here in Canada. First of all, I like to say that your starting point does not define your ending, because everybody know my starting point here. Everyone in Canada, we have our unique story. Everyone have their unique story, but you will choose the story you want for yourself. Career success is not luck. It's built on clarity. You need to understand your objective. Why do you want to transition? For me, it was family, and that was my reason. You need to have courage. You need to be able to dare yourself. Change is not for the weak. I don't know if our apostle is here, but I like to use him as an example. Apostle also transitioned. If we don't know, he was a seasoned HR professional working for the government of Saskatchewan, but he transitioned to being an apostle. That was a drastic move. He has never pastored a church before, but he moved. So he knew what he wanted, and he had the courage to transition. If he was here, I would also like him to speak about his own his own journey. Then you need to be consistent. You need to show up every time, and you have to keep building the blocks, putting the blocks together step by step, one by one. It's not going to happen overnight. One of my biggest discovery in Canada is that effort is rewarded. Although there is the place for grace, but grace will only amplify what you've put in. If you put in nothing, then your grace cannot work. But if you put in that work in this country, irrespective of your age, irrespective of what you have, your background, is going to be rewarded with the help of God. I arrived in Canada 8 years ago. I didn't have everything figured out, just like everyone, just like Christiana. I took on different roles. Like my profile doesn't really capture the roles I've taken, but that was just a snippet. I've worked in retail. I've done customer service. I've worked in the warehouse in Canada. Canada does not reward what you have done in the past. So even if you have been the manager of Central Bank in Nigeria and you come here, you need to be willing to put your shoulders down and have a clarity of what you want in Canada, then pursue it. You need to have a mindset to embrace change, learn new skills, relevant skills. I was very impressed when Christina mentioned that she has 12 certifications. So imagine that I work in Christina's organization and Christina sends me an email and I see Christina Nwabudike and I see 12 different things at the side of her name. Before I respond to Christina, I have to do research to make sure that, I'm making sense. Because she has built herself. She didn't achieve those 12 certifications overnight. And she mentioned that one of those certifications costs $200. So 200 times 12. That's the investment she has put in herself. Some certifications cost more than $200. Some certifications cost thousands of dollars, depending on where you want to go to. So what am I saying? What am I saying? So whether you are starting from scratch, you are transitioning to a new career, or you are aiming for something higher, the sky is big enough for everybody to thrive. There's never the best time. And the best time is now. You need to make that move. So I'm just using myself as an example here. For me, my first objective was not cybersecurity. My first objective was because like I didn't have a tech background, just like Christiana too. So like her story kind of um touch touch base. We have different areas that we scratch ourselves. Maybe I'll have to become your friend, Christiana. So expect to see me in church on Sunday. I'll come and say hello. My first objective was not cybersecurity. My first objective was a job that would give me a normal schedule and time with family. I wasn't concerned about any other thing. I was just concerned about family. I wanted to be present in my life, in my family's life, because at that point instead, when I was thinking about transitioning, we just we just had a child, and it was me, my wife, and my child. So I went on parental leave, and my plan was not to go back to my job after my parental leave. I had a list of different career paths I wanted to try. The good thing I see from Christiana's story is that she wanted to go into Salesforce, which was clear. But for me, I had project management, I had Scrum Master, I had business analyst, I had supply chain management, I had anything and everything because I didn't have any prior background to say this is where I want to go and let me pursue it. So there might be people here too that you've not figured it out. So you are not alone. Um, I was confused, really. And at the end of the day, to cut the long story short, I landed on cybersecurity. And even in cybersecurity, it's so big, it's so broad. Cybersecurity is not just okay, you're in cybersecurity. Okay, cybersecurity, where do you want to go? Do you want to start to do coding? Do you want to be cybersecurity operations? Do you want to be helping people to um, hack systems to find weaknesses in systems? You need to define where you want to go, even when you find that bucket that you want to go inside. Um, yeah, so I decided to go into GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. So in all this thing I'm saying, I did some courses in project management. I did some courses in Scrum. But all those things I did, they were no waste to me. They just helped me to understand what I did not want. So if I never tried it, I would never have known that that's not where I wanted to be. Like I spent time learning Scrum. I paid for trainings. I spent time learning PMP. It was not just making sense. I did not just have that peace. I did not just have that, let me start chasing it. So it's okay if you're in the waters trying to swim, but your clarity is going to come. Be intentional. Define your why. That's what I'm saying about clarity. What does success mean to you? Then success for me meant that have a job that's going to give you a defined schedule, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I want to be home with my family. Every experience in my career journey taught me something. I understood the courses that gave me excitement. I understood what drains me, and I understood where my strength was. Then I became focused on cybersecurity. When I became focused there, I created a clear plan. I moved with intentionality. Um, at some point, I had to get a coach for myself that I was paying per hour to train me on cybersecurity because I needed to have a good foundation. So every day I engage him for 5 hours. I pay him $20 an hour. Every day I did that for like maybe 1 month before it started making a little bit of sense. Christiana also said something that at some point she didn't understand anything. My sister, you're not alone, right? I did a boot camp too for 3 months. In the 3 months of my boot camp, what they said in the first day, I did not even know what they were talking about. What are they talking about here? Right? So it's okay if you don't understand things, right? But when you don't understand, don't be silent. For me, my strategy was to get somebody. I got somebody paid, although I call him my mentor, but everybody will not mentor you for free. Are you willing to take those sacrifices? Are you are you willing to you need to give something to get something too, right? Are you are you willing to go the extra length? The caveat is I was not working then because I was on parental leave, and I wasn't even getting EI because I took the parental leave late. So there was nothing coming into my pocket, and I was paying somebody per hour to learn. So if I become like a dastical and begin to play, it's my hours that's wasting. Whatever he does for me, I need to pay for it. So you need to take things seriously. At some point, it began to click. I started understanding concept. So I reduced from 5 hours we do three, from three we do one. As at a point in time, I just stopped because I could read and figure it out. Oh, okay, so this is what this thing means. And if I don't understand, I'll still go back to him. But at that point in time, we built a relationship that even when he jumps on a call with me, I don't need to, I don't need to pay anymore. But my point here is that you need to be intentional about it. Some people do boot camp, some people do internship. Don't look at the money you have to pay. Look at where you want to go. Be willing to, pay. Be willing to sacrifice. Everything will not be free. Something else that helped me to accelerate my growth was people. I remember talking to Apostle about my journey, and he introduced me to a friend of mine. I don't know if he's on this call. His name is Okpayemi. Okpayemi helped me in a lot of ways, prepared me for my first job. Funny thing is, Sister Biola, I'm going to call you out here. Okpayemi also helps Sister Biola. So build that community, that relationship, that people skill. You are not alone. You cannot do it alone. This is Canada, right? If I want to go into Salesforce, for example, tomorrow, I have a part now. I'll just talk to Sister Christina. Tell me how can I do it? Hold my hands, right? The right mentors will guide you. The right peers will challenge you. Another thing I want to say is I had a lot of peers from my previous employment. Some people did not understand what I was trying to do. So what are you doing? What do you want to transition to? You're already earning 6 figures. Why are you transitioning? Is it because of family? Don't trust women, no. They will leave you behind. God. Are you trying? Do you want to transition because of your wife? I want to transition because of my wife. I was transitioning because of family. My wife is part of my family. My daughter is part of my family. I had to cut ties with some people, not because I don't like them, but because it was like they were drawing me back. When I'm talking to them, they are saying something else. I don't need that energy. I don't need to hear that. I need to hear that what you're doing, you can make it. Don't tell me that people that I know that have tried to do this thing 5 years now, they've not gotten a job. Okay, that is their story, right? So you need to also be careful. You need to protect your space. Because the more you keep on hearing those negative things, I I transitioned in 2023 March. By 2024 May, I got my first role. So it's possible. So if somebody transition and it's 5 years, they've not gotten a job, that does not have to be your story. Just keep your own focus and know the God you serve. The right networks will open doors you didn't even know existed. And just like Sister Christiana also said, continuous learning. Continuous learning is the big one. Having the right certifications. Because there are some jobs you apply for. The automated tracking system, once you don't put those certifications there, it does throw it away. You can't say you want to pivot into project management and you don't have PMP. Even if you don't have the experience, but have the basic prerequisites, have those certifications listed on your resume. Another strategy you can use is, if you know you want to take those certifications, you can put it on your resume and you put them in progress. You're putting in you're just putting it there so that ATS will not yank your resume off. Even today as a security architect, I still have certifications lined up for me that I want to take. I have certifications in Microsoft 3 that I've lined up. I have 2 other certifications lined up for me. Even after those certifications, you still need to continuously build because the ecosystem keeps changing, right? You don't want to be a local champion. Hey, I know it. I've done it. No. Next week, there might be a new clause in a framework that changes the whole trajectory of how your organization do business. If you don't keep up with those knowledge, and that is the things that make you different. You go into meetings and you begin to speak, and you say that, just like Christians, when we're speaking, we're quoting the Bible according to Mark 3:16, God loved the world. You're referencing those frameworks and say in NIST, there is something about incident response. Why not bring in this? So you're speaking from what you've learned. You're not just talking because and most of the time we are the only black voice in the room. So you want to speak with great knowledge. You have to keep on learning, right? I can't emphasize that enough. For me, I after this meeting today, I'm still going to read. It doesn't. I'm not where I want to be yet, so continuous learning is a big one for me. I'm going to leave everyone with this. Yeah. You don't need to have everything figured out. Clarity is good, but don't let it hold you back from starting. Someone like me, I did not have clarity until like maybe 5 months into when I decided to transition. I did not even see cybersecurity until 5 months down the line. And I only saw cybersecurity because someone I know sent me a training or a boot camp that was going on in Canada for free, done by the government of Canada. And I'm like, okay, let me enroll for it. And that was how I enrolled for it. And, I started my journey. So you don't have to have everything figured out. You just need to take the next step. What is the next step? I want to transition, or I want to grow, or I want to accelerate in my current field. Looks like my session is very fast, but I like to be fast with things. Looking back at my journey, every role I've done, from customer service, from working in the retail store in Canada, from working as support operations, from working with the railway as a train conductor, from learning how to drive a train, from taking courses in Scrum, from even learning how to code. Every failed attempt, every lesson, they all add up to my journey now. In interviews, I pick up experiences even from railway, and I took it to what I'm doing. Because they don't always ask about your technical skills in interviews. Sometimes they ask about, tell us about leadership. Tell us about your ability to work under pressure. Tell us about your ability to communicate. You're not going to go into an interview and they're asking you all technical. They want those soft skills too. Tell us a time that you presented to leadership, right? So every bucket or every role that played in my journey, there's something I've taken from them, and I put them all as a story, and I speak about them in interviews. So irrespective of what you're doing today, even if you're working as a security official, don't downlook or don't downplay your experiences. You can package it well, and it's going to make sense in an interview room. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take actions. Stay consistent because the future will not wait for you. The future is something you build. And with this viewpoint of mine, I hope I've been able to pass a message to somebody. And for me, if anybody here wants to know about security, cybersecurity, you want to transition into cybersecurity, I'm always here. I will give you as much as information you need because people also held my hands on my journey, and I'm willing to hold as much people's hand that I can hold. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. I want to see all of our reactions before I say anything. Thank you so much, Brighter. I think one thing that I do appreciate with these sessions is how very real and practical they are. Like, no one here is telling you anything outside the ordinary. They're telling you from their own experiences. And what that tells me is that if you've seen, okay, I think there's somebody who is in mute. I believe that just seeing everybody walk you through their journeys tells you that if you're at a different spot now and you're hoping or asking yourself if it's possible, if you pick anything out of today, is the fact that with Sister Christiana, with Bro Toro, they've said to you, they've been there, they are out of it, they're doing better. It is possible. So you can get clarity, and beyond clarity, you can also grow on your role. You can evolve is the word. And thank you for taking us through that journey, Braitoro. I had lots and lots of notes myself. I like the portion of saying be open to investing in yourself. You are a brand. If we're trying to connect it back to what Sister Christiana said, you're a brand, and so you should be willing to invest in yourself. It's more acting now, taking action. But I also, one thing that is very profound is the fact that you said everything adds up. I'm a proponent of that for sure. It's regardless of where life has taken you, when you did the odd jobs to today, when you're doing the more polished job, everything at the end of the day still all comes together. Thank you for sharing that. I will get us to take questions. I can see Sister Christiana's hand up, so maybe we'll get started with you. You have the floor. You're still on mute. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that I promise I'm not asking him because he asked me. That's not the case. That's not the case. Okay. So thank you so much, Brighter. There are so many things that you said. And yes, the minute I saw your name, I said, I have found a new best friend on the flyer. There are so many things you touched on that really resonates with me. I like the relationship currency part because at the end of the day, we always need people to grow. The most part that really resonated, because I just had that experience recently, was taking the Scrum classes and realizing it wasn't for you. That happened to me last year. My question is, when you finally made up, for me, I found Salesforce and I knew immediately that was what I wanted to do. But you said you went through these ones and you knew it wasn't for you. How did you, when you transitioned into cybersecurity, what in the class or what experience made you realize, okay, this is for me, even when it was tough, but this is for me, this is what I wanted to do? By not taking product management is because I know what I don't like. I don't like documentation. So what was it for you that kind of stood out and made cybersecurity it for you?
Okay, so when I started cybersecurity, I wasn't sure yet because the bad part for me was that they went into the technical side of cybersecurity during my training for the first month. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to learn this, right? But I stayed in. I wanted to finish that boot camp until we got to a part of cybersecurity called governance, risk, and compliance. And it began to make sense that, oh, so cybersecurity is not just technical. So there is the non-technical side of cybersecurity, where just like how you read the Bible and you understand scriptures, you can read, they're called frameworks. You can read frameworks and you understand frameworks, then you can apply that to organizations. So example, a framework might say that, let's use Loftyite, for example. Let's say Loftyite is a church, and because Loftyite is a church and people pay offering, let's say people pay offering through Loftyite websites. That means we collect people's personal information and we also collect people's card information. Now, the framework might say that every organization that collects people's personal information and collect people's payment information should have a secured platform. But however, Loftyite might not know that. And Loftyite employs me. So I'm bringing those frameworks to Loftyite. So bit by bit, I'm helping Loftyite mature. Maybe when I came in, Loftyite were 20% maturity. So I'm bringing in those frameworks. Okay, you have to ensure that these things are encrypted. Check. You have to ensure that you have a list of all the people in your church. Check. You have to ensure that everybody's card is stored in a safe place. Check. But I'm not bringing these things from my head. I'm bringing them from a framework that I can say that you are aligning the organization to this framework. So I understood that, so I can read and bring it, just implement, right? So, and that resonated with me. I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. So I don't have to be the technical place that I'm learning how to code because I don't know it. I don't know how to code, but I can read and I can, speak in meetings and, so that was what, stuck for me. So I now aligned my trajectory to GRC. So what do I need to do to develop in GRC? So I started taking certification in line with GRC. I wasn't just taking certification in cybersecurity. So I was now applying for governance, risk, and compliance roles. But however, when I got into SaaS Power, they employed me as a GRC professional, but put me in another department. So now they're stretching me, right? I can't say I'm not working here again. Right? So it's a challenge now for me now to begin to understand and read up, but I'm liking it because I understand GRC now. I'm learning this and they're giving me time to also learn. So it's just making me a better person at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brother Toro. Do we have anyone with additional questions as we look to wrap up Brother Toro's session? Any more questions?
Please, I have a question.
Okay, you've got the floor. Thank you.
Yes. Please, I'd like to ask Brother Toro. For the person who already has an idea of what to do, they are doing their certifications. What was that thing that made you know that, okay, you had mentioned that once you were doing governance, um, that you knew that that was what you wanted to do. But how did you get over the imposter syndrome? And then now that you're on the job, how could you give us an idea of, I know you're a man, so you have more time in quotes, but like every day, how are you reading up? What are the things you are doing?
Okay, thank you for your questions, Ms. Adebola. I don't think because I'm a man, I have more time. We share our responsibilities in this house 50-50. However, I think that imposter syndrome stuff, I don't think you can really, really get over that, right? But I show up. So right now I'm better now because this is not my first role. But when I got my first role, I show up to work every day with prayers in my head. God, please. It's because you've not done it before, right? So you will not manufacture confidence. You just have to you just have to do your own part by like fill your head with everything you can fill your head with in terms of knowledge. Know it. You don't want to say in meetings. You want them to ask questions and you talk. You want to ask intelligent questions. So, so like for me, what really helped me with imposter syndrome was my first month. It was about fear. It was fear, fear, fear. But I was doing a lot of reading behind the scene, and whenever I speak, they'll be like, this guy, because they were already suspecting me because one, I'm black. So it's like they are looking for ways for you to fail already, right? So they are looking for don't say nonsense and will pursue you. But with the help of God, with the help of so I go to work 8 to 5. I come back. I'm on my desk for another 5 to 11 or 5 to 12. So that is the cycle for me. That's how the cycle has been for me. That 5 to 12 is reading, understanding my next day job, understanding my job for 1 week. So when I begin to speak, when I began to work on projects, in fact, the project I worked on in 3SL, I've never done it in my whole life. I did that project. In fact, I heard about ISMS for the first time in that organization. And there was nobody I could learn it from because nobody had done it before. But I just, when immediately I joined, I paid for ISMS certification. I paid $3,500 to do that training. For my pocket. The organization did not pay because they felt I already knew it. So there was no way they would have paid for it. But you said you have it now. You said you have all the experience. So why are we paying for you? So I paid that $3,500 to understand how to implement that thing. And I began to do it. And with every day, every week, I was gaining the trust of my manager. And as I began to gain her trust, it trickled down to other people in the organizations. At some point, everybody just, even if I say anything, they believe me. Anything I say, they believe me. Because now I'm the subject matter expert in quotes. So my manager wants to go for meetings. She's coming to meet me. Itoro, what do you think I should say in this meeting? She wants to send an email. She's coming to meet me. Do you think this email is good enough? I say, me. In my mind, I'm saying that me, they ask, me, they ask. But what am I saying? I'm saying that imposter syndrome is real. It's always going to be with you, but you have to fight it with knowledge. You fight it with knowledge. So you're speaking sense. You're speaking knowledge. The Bible says that knowledge will empower your own understanding, right? So yeah, imposter syndrome is real. You cannot go away. In terms of time, you need to figure out that time. Maybe sometimes I sleep 3 hours in a day, or sometimes I sleep 4 hours. I'm going to work, my eyes wants to fall, but I don't care, right? Because I know what I want to achieve, right? And with time, that confidence will begin to come. At some point, I started speaking in board meetings. But before I speak in that board meeting, my leg would have been shaking under my table like God. But when I start to speak, the calmness will just come. And another thing, we have an advantage in the Holy Spirit too. We have grace too. And Apostle told me that I have 10 years experience. So that one used to stick to my head.
Thank you so much, Brighter. I hope you're ready. You have more questions waiting for you. So I have one in the chat box. I will take that and then we'll take Sister Lola's. For this one here, it says, question for Brighter. Besides the GRC area of cybersecurity, what other areas are there for transitioning?
Well, cybersecurity is very broad. There is cybersecurity operations. Those are the people that they're always on their system looking for when somebody attacks you. Also, whenever there's an attack, they block it. You can decide to go there. Some people they call them threat hunters. Their own work is to be hacking system and looking for weaknesses in systems. They work at the back end. So when they find those weaknesses, they bring it to they bring it up to the organization. Some people are incident responders. Yeah, my head is full, but yeah, cybersecurity is really broad. Depending on and the another caveat is there are free certification in cybersecurity. I can drop one in the chat. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you can do that, and it's going to give you just a broad understanding of the different domains in cybersecurity, and you're going to determine, okay, this is where I want to go. Then you can go there. The certificate is free, and people can. I think it's a good place to start. I also did that too when I was starting, and I finished it within 3 weeks.
Okay, thank you so much. I have one more hand up for you, but I wanted to chip in. I know we're talking imposter syndrome earlier, and the only solution is just go into everything you want to do with a lot of confidence. And the only way to build that confidence is knowledge. I have a rule in my career and in my personal life. I never go for any meeting without preparing. No matter how small, no, I would rather that I do beyond what the expectation is than do below what it is. So never walk into a room without being fully prepared. Get all the context you need, read up if you have to, make scripts for yourself if you have to, and then you see yourself sounding more intelligent when you show up at those meetings. Thank you. I will take the last question. Sister Lola, you have the floor.
My question, I have an upcoming interview for the role of a Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master is to support people in cybersecurity and GRC. So from your experience as a subject matter expert, how does the Scrum Master offer support? Just like high level, what will the Scrum Master be doing supporting those teams? Thank you.
Well, thank you for your question. I've never really worked with Scrum Masters. I've worked with project managers, but what I can just say is maybe what I can think about there is that maybe there are projects that involve cybersecurity projects. Maybe an organization is trying to implement a cybersecurity tool or mature their cybersecurity frameworks, and they have this project going on. Maybe as a Scrum Master, you're going to be the one conducting those, do they call it sprints? Those meetings. So you're going to be the coordinator of all those meetings, ensuring that the project is going on as planned and there's nothing lacking behind. For example, in my organization, we're doing a project of implementing a third-party risk management framework. How we're going to be managing vendors when vendors are coming to organization. So building a plan. So maybe as the Scrum Master there, you're going to be the one ensuring that every stakeholder in that project meet up with their deliverables in time. Maybe, I'm not sure. But on your own side, you also do a lot of research on Scrum Master, what Scrum Masters do in terms of cybersecurity. It might be related, it might be a little bit in line with how a project manager will work with cybersecurity teams. The cybersecurity project, I think. Yeah, but that's what I can give you for now, Miss Lola.
I can contribute to that. I have worked with Scrum Masters in my previous role, not cybersecurity, but it's kind of the same concept. The role of the Scrum Master was to make sure that every team was communicating their roadblocks, their issues that was happening. Like, it was primarily making sure that the line of communication was open and everybody understood where they were. They organized the sprints, they were responsible for the sprints. When teams were facing blockers, it was the responsibility of the Scrum Master to unblock them. So if it was going to take a meeting, chasing down the stakeholder, it was the Scrum Master's responsibility to make sure that that stakeholder comes to the table. Because when you're working on projects, you're touching on different teams and they could be busy, not because they're trying to delay your project, but they are also busy with their own work. So it was the Scrum Master's responsibility to find a time that works and make sure everybody came to the table to have conversations.
Hey, thank you for that additional input. And if I can throw in one tiny piece from just an overall perspective, Sister Lola, when you get into those interviews, before you get into having them question you, you could quickly ask them for some summary or some context of how the role applies in their environment. And whatever you take out from that very quickly, you will then adjust your answers to whatever context they provide to you at that early stage. And thank you. There is one more question, Bertoro. It looks like you are really on that spot today. It says, hello, Sarah. You mentioned you were considering many options. How did you come to the conclusion that you were going to stick to cybersecurity at a similar stage, is what this person says?
Thank you. I first of all, we're praying as a family. So, and I'm married, so most of my decisions are family inclined. When I did Scrum did not just, I passed the certification, right? But the Scrum was not scrumming in my head. I I wanted to go into PMP too. I talked to my neighbor, she's a project manager. I don't know. I didn't have peace really. That did not just feel like this was where I wanted to go. And we are also believers too, so we don't really make decisions anyhow. But I was just trying. I did some coding. That one was even the worst because it was like nothing. Like coding was not just for me. But immediately I went into that boot camp. Although it was not making sense, but I could see that I think you can progress in this place. But there was a lot of work to be done, and I just stayed there. I just stayed there and paid for personal coaches. In fact, last year when we were finding our tax for my family, and I aligned how much I've paid in terms of training in cybersecurity. I was just showing my wife that this money cannot waste, right? Because there was a lot of investment in that area, and because I don't know how to say that this is how you're gonna know, but sometimes you have to follow your guts. If that is where you're feeling strong inclination, just going like knowledge is never a waste. So knowledge is power. It's never a waste. If you go in and that is not it, or you have that knowledge, you might be shocked that your next big thing you'll be able to relate with that. So that's what I can say.
Okay, thank you. There's one more question in the chat box. And either Sister Christina or Broitoro, either of you can answer this. Says, hello, what do you think about product design as a career path in tech in Canada? And do you think we need a master's degree in that field for us to work in it?
Sister Christina is a pro girl.
Well, so if there's one thing that is common between Brighter's journey and mine is we don't have degrees in the aspects. There are UX design courses, boot camps that you could take that I believe would help. HR professionals can checkmate me, but sometimes it's not about the degree you hold, it's about the experience you're able to communicate that you have and the value you're telling the hiring manager that, like, you need to sell yourself like you're the next best thing after sliced bread. You need to communicate that without me, if you miss me, you have missed it in your interview. So I would say you don't necessarily need a degree in that design class, but definitely do your research, hone down to what aspect of the design you want to do. Take classes in it. Again, look for low-hanging certifications. It just gives you an extra badge, an extra bragging right. It also gives you leverage to sell yourself because regardless of whether and I would like to say at this point that there are so many dumps, honestly, certification dumps out there. But I say every time I speak to within my community that The difference between me and someone that have a lot of certification and someone that used Dump to write their certification is the way I speak about my experience, my knowledge of the platform is absolutely different from the way that person that used the Dump to get a certification would speak about it. So put in the work. You don't, again, I don't, in my opinion, no, I don't think you need a degree in it, but you definitely need to do the learning that is involved in it, get certified, and start working towards it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sister Christiana. And if it helps, I totally agree with you. Your degree is good, it's valid. However, you don't need to have a degree to practice. If it helps, I'm in HR today, but I did study chemistry as my degree. But yes, I've taken a ton of certifications. But yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's I believe at this point we get to take a quick break. I know we were hoping to wrap up at 11. Doesn't look like it just yet. We will have Sister Ninka come up for the last piece very quickly, but I'm hoping let's take a 5 minute quick stretch breaks, bio breaks, whatever you need, go grab water, and then we will be back for the last one because we want to be sure that we're all attentive, we're all listening. So whatever has been bugging you that you needed to quickly go do it in 5 minutes, and then we'll come back here and take the last session. Okay, I will get us some music maybe. Okay. Hello, hello. It's 5 minutes and I'm hoping we're all back. Okay, I think we have about similar numbers. Thank you, thank you. Let's see. If you're back and I'm not speaking to empty phones, just give me reactions. I just want to be sure that we're full in the room before we get going. Okay, Sister Christiana, thank you. Okay. I believe we can get things going. And thank you. So we have our last session with our very own Sister Ninka Thomas is going to be facilitating the session. And for this one, we're talking about workplace culture, understanding the Canadian workplace culture. I will get through very quickly just a bit about her. And so we get to familiarize ourselves with our profile and she will get things moving. But Sister Ninka, can you confirm you're here? Sister Ninka, are you here with us?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Just wanted to double check before we get going. Sounds good. And so a quick snapshot about Sister Ninka Thomas. She's a certified HR professional, certified accountant, certified professional recruiter, as well as a resume writer and a career coach. She's done this for over 20 years, so I'm sure you can appreciate she's very well equipped to tell you everything she has to tell you today. She's helped professionals navigate their career path, evolving workplace demands, and achieve sustainable success. And through personalized guidance, she empowers individuals to gain clarity, build confidence, and thrive in today's competitive marketplace. Her philosophy is simple. It's that your dream is within reach. And I'm sure she would empower us even with more insight and tips for that today. She's dedicated to helping professionals creating fulfilling careers. Sister Nika, thank you so much for accepting to take this session. We would have you proceed. I believe I have your slides, so I'll help navigate from here. You can go on.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I know our time is well overspent, and I want to believe that we had a lot of takeaways from previous session. And thank you so much to Brother Itoro and also Sister Christiana for that valuable session. Even me, I learned a lot from the session. My notes is filled as well here also. And thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And to everyone that's been with us since morning, thank you for joining the session. And I will be very fast with this because I know time is against us, but I will be very fast. Please note down all of your questions, and after the section, I can take your questions. So again, thank you very much for having me this morning. And I will be exploring on the Canadian culture, basically workplace culture, how it works, what really matters, and how you can navigate the culture basically. So I'm going to be sharing some tips and also real life scenarios. I'll be sharing things that I've learned, right? And also things that I know people go through. As an HR professional, I've been able to, relate to a lot of people during the course of my career here in Canada. Yeah. So moving to the presentation, and very quickly, we have to talk about the workplace culture. What exactly are we looking at? So you need to be able to understand the Canadian work culture. What does it mean? From punctuality to collaboration to how you communicate to people to how you digest the feedback that is being given to you to even building trust with your colleagues, with your managers, with your co-workers in the workplace, basically. Next slide. Next slide, sorry. Okay, so when we talk about why the Canadian work culture, why does it matter? Sometimes many people think that, oh, there's something we say in HR, you get hired for skills, you get fired for attitude. So irrespective of the skills that you have, your attitude, your behavior speaks a lot about you. So if your managers, if your co-workers, even if your team members have some sort of negative feedback about you, you understand that our skin color, like Brother Itero did mention, our skin color will make them judge us. So if they have any iota of negative feedback about you, or they perceive some attitudinal things about you that they are not comfortable with, that sometimes might work against us, which is why we are having this section. So we need to know what we need to do when it comes to the skills that we have in relation to the attitude, the behaviors that are expected to get the work done. We also need to understand those unspoken expectations. What are those things that your manager is telling you, and indirectly that's not what your manager meant, is saying something else? You need to be able to pick those things, understand, be at alert. When they're saying A, try to interpret down within you that could A means B, C, and then you can clarify further. As we move along, we'll see how we can navigate all of those things. Next slide. Okay, so when we talk about workplace culture, what are the expectations? I remember jokingly one time, Apostle was saying, he sang a song, I've forgotten the song, that they would say, you're resting here, you're calling in sick, I don't even know if I remember that song. Calling in sick all the time. That really matters. You need to be punctual and you need to respect deadlines. In Canada, arriving on time, if your work is to start by 8 o'clock, if you get to work, deep down inside, you tell yourself, I need to get to work 7:50 or maybe 15 minutes before, 7:45. If you get to work 8 o'clock, you are late. Just tell yourself you are late. They can be doing all of those things and get to work maybe 8:15 or what have you. But tell yourself, you need to be able to discipline yourself to say, 8 o'clock, you need to get to work at least some minutes before 8, right? Don't get to work on the dot of 8 or after 8. It really speaks a lot about you. You also need to learn how to meet deadlines. That shows your ability. It shows that they can trust you, right? Also, when you look at taking initiative, you need to be able to, take initiative without waiting for constant direction. Sometimes people wait for their managers to give them directions. That also speaks a lot about the kind of person you are. Many feedback I get from the clients I work with, I call them clients because I relate to a lot of executive leaders at the top and managers. And when they're speaking to me, if they're giving me feedback about their employee, what I'll hear them say is, hey, Yika, she's a manager, so she should know better. So what does that mean? She shouldn't wait for her to give her directions. The manager is not expecting the employee to say, oh, I need to do this, I need to go get it done. It is when you need approval of, or you're not clear on something, or you are stuck, or you want to escalate. That is when you can let them know what you need to do, or you want to pick their brains, or you want to get some feedback from them. But never ask for, I won't say never ask for direction. Don't continue asking for directions. You can ask for, take your initiatives to get things done if you understand the work, right? You need to understand the work, take your initiatives and get things done. You also need to show accountability and professionalism. You need to be responsible at what you do. And more importantly for me is on how we need to respect diversity and inclusion. Unconsciously, I noticed that we blacks in the workplace, sorry for using the word blacks. In fact, I need to withdraw that. Unconsciously, some people in the workplace, they kind of condition their mindset to say, oh, I can't relate to this category of people. I don't like relating to this category of people. Hey, you need to stop that. It's a workplace, irrespective of who the person is. Please, you need to be able to relate the same way you are relating with your fellow brothers and sisters. Please pass the same communication down to the other person. You are in the workplace. Don't segregate or discriminate to say, hey, this form an opinion about some particular work racial place or people in another diverse community and say, oh, this is the way these people behave, and I need to just guide myself against them. That for me is a no-no in the workplace. Basically. Yeah. Can move to the next slide. Thank you. All right, this is another key thing that is also critical in the workplace. Communication styles, right? They say if you want to stand out, the way you communicate also really, really matters, right? when it comes to clear communications, right? Our managers, the people we relate with, they kind of judge us, right? I would say they judge us a lot. So we need to be able to, very quickly as immigrants or very quickly as somebody working in the Canadian workplace, you need to be able to discover that even when you know your job well, the way you express yourself can also determine whether people fully understand or trust your communication or your contribution, basically. An example is if you have a feedback or you want to contribute in a meeting, the way you pass that message across also really matters. Let me share a very quick experience I have. I'm this kind of person that sometimes when I'm passionate about something, I'm a fast talker. And most times when I'm talking, and I just realize that the managers will be like, Inka, you are making a very huge material point there, but can you please come again? Then I realize that, oh, I'm too fast for these people, right? I'm speaking too fast. Not that they can't hear what I'm saying, but they need to very quickly process their brains to say, hey, let me listen to what she's saying. So in realizing that, I had to be consciously, when I'm speaking to them, I try to talk slowly. Sometimes it's annoying, I'll tell you for free, because that is not me. But I'll be like, you know what? If for them to be able to understand what I'm saying, I need to be able to communicate at their own pace so that they can understand me. And when I started doing that, I don't say things twice. As soon as I'm saying it, I'll see them noting things down and then asking me follow-up questions to let me know that, oh, deep down inside I'll be like, oh yeah, they understood what I was saying. Or like before when I would just be and I'll just be looking, they'll just be looking like they're lost basically. I know you understand what I'm trying to say. People will understand. Okay, so the next one is you need to be also direct and also polite because the people you are working with are also very direct. In many Canadian workplaces, of course, I don't have huge experience like that in so many. I've worked in some places though, both the private and the public, right? What you say also really matters, right? And what you mean when you're saying things also matters. But how you say it often matters just as much as the message that you are saying. So, in as much as you want to pass the message across, try to digest that message and see how best you can communicate that message for people to actually understand what you're trying to say, right? The other thing also is ask clarifying questions when you are unsure. An instance is maybe your manager or somebody has given you a directive, or you are in a meeting, your impact or whatever it is that you are doing at work will go a long way when it comes to your contribution. And you are not sure on the direction at which they are going. Please ask questions. Don't assume. Because I noticed that many of us at workplace we just keep quiet. We don't ask questions, we don't contribute. If you are not clear, ask questions because they don't know it all as well. That angle of you asking that question might just be the light that you need to throw in the room. So please don't stay silent because many of us do. Don't stay silent because you're more or less appearing like uninformed, right? But when you ask simple questions, it often prevents sometimes bigger mistakes from you. Because, like I said, if you have something to contribute and you don't understand what they're saying, ask questions. Another thing also that I know that managers, directors, executive leadership complain about is our tone of email. Some of us, I think, we are used to some certain way of writing, and the way they read that mail is is they interpret it in a different way because they can read your tone, they can read whether you're shouting, they can read whether you're hungry. I don't know, they're just gifted in that manner. So I always tell my people if I have anyone reach out to me to say, hey, I need to discuss this and this and this with my manager or my director, I'll tell them, please do not document it. Pass your message across, but do not document because there's no way. We find it hard. Because of the what we're accustomed to from our experience, the way we document things, they will read the word line by line, and each sentence means a lot to them. What you are not saying in those sentences, they will help you interpret it. So I always tell them, especially when you have an issue or you have a request to make or you have some message to pass across, speak to the person you want to speak to first. It could be either in a meeting, it could be either during your one-on-one. Speak and pass your message across. If you want to go back to document your message, you can go back and document in a very short sentence. I always tell maximum two, three. 3 sentences so that even if they want to read in between those lines, they won't have much things to pick, to punch holes on, right? You can have 2 sentences to pass your message and reach those lines to say, hey, what if they think this? What if they think that way? So let's be mindful of the way we communicate, and also let's be very professional in the way we pass our message across in emails. If you are not sure, please ask questions. I have a lot of people reach out to me, especially when they're having performance issues with their manager. I'll say, you know what, send me the email you want to communicate to your manager. Let's read this through. And I'll then use my HR highs to look through, use manager highs to even look at the emails and say, take out some words, edit for them, and just say, you know what, you can shoot. So please, if you're not sure of the email that you want to communicate, please, you can clarify and then you can save accordingly. Next slide, please. Next slide, Ola. Thank you. Sorry about that. I have issues with my laptop, that's why. Okay, so when it comes to common communication differences, like I said earlier, the way we communicate is totally different from what they are accustomed to. Feedback is often, to them and to us, feedback is often indirect and diplomatic, right? Many of us, like when we started work, I also use myself as an example. When I started work in Canada, the feedback I receive sometimes they may seem very soft, but that feedback is heavy, you know. So you may need to listen beyond the words that they're telling you to be able to fully understand the message. An example is I was in a meeting yesterday. The manager wanted to fire, they use the word let go. Bottom line is termination. Wanted to terminate an employee. And I was in that meeting. The feedback the manager was giving this employee, in my mind, I was like, child, this lady, she doesn't know that a termination letter, she will receive it at the end of the month. We're just waiting for the end of the month. And the lady was giving her the feedback to me. The lady, I'm sure she will be able to read in between the lines, because for me, they are the same, like I said, the same. But me, I was like, oh God, our people will interpret this to say, hey, my manager likes me or something like that. But hey, this person is going to be, will get fired by the end of the month. So sometimes when they pass that message across and they're giving you feedback, this is not to scare anybody, but when they are giving you feedback, especially on areas that they say, they won't use the word you're not good at this, you're not good at this. They might use the word areas needing improvement, or they might use the word, oh, I would like you to do, they'll say it in a subtle way or manner. My dear, please go and sit down behind your desk or behind closed doors and read through whatever it is that they need you to do and clarify further. If it is an area needing improvement, ask direct questions to get the specific areas that needs improvement. If it is things that you need to work on, if it is deadlines that you are missing, please ask questions. Don't let it get too close to say, oh, and I know, or I wish, and all of that. The other bit also is people may say, oh, let's revisit this. My dear, that let's revisit this means is a no-no for now and forever. It might sound like future possibilities. I learned this in a hard way. We just say, oh, let's revisit this, then I'll bring it again next week, just to like a reminder. To my mind, I'll be like, why is this manager sleeping on this thing? Later, and I got to know that this is a no. They are not interested. So little words like that. If you are new in a workplace and you have one or two colleagues and you need to understand the manager that you're working with, you can ask questions to say, hey, when manager says this, what do you think he actually meant, or what message is he trying to say? If you are not sure, right? So you can ask questions to be able to know what your manager or whoever you're speaking with does implies. Another thing that is a big one for me is the small talks. I am not this kind of small talks person. All my life, I get to work, start work, move on. In HR, you know how HR is back home. You are behind closed doors. Before you can even enter HR department, it's a long thing. Not to talk of go to a manager's office. It's a huge thing. But over here, you see them easily. They can stroll into HR, give you a call. Back home, they hardly call HR because you know how it is now. But over here, they call HR regularly, and when they call, they'll be asking, how was your dog? How was your weekend? My mind, can you please go straight to the point? I don't have time. I'm busy. Those small little talks really helps too. So if we try to ignore, they can form an opinion about us. So let's try as much as possible as they're saying those small talks. Let's join them. They're talking about their dog, to talk about your kids, your house, what you did over the weekend, how the weather is going, how cold you felt, how you enjoyed your weekend. Talk about planned trips. You don't necessarily have to say things you don't mean, but chip in one or two things rather than just giving them the notion of, I'm not interested on how your weekend works or about your cat or your dog or stuff like that that matters to them. So what I'm trying to say is just to be involved more or less. I don't know if I'm the only person. I just noticed that something went wrong.
We can still hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't see anything again. Yeah. Can others see the screen?
Can someone, Sister Christiana, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It just shows that something went wrong. Please close. Okay. Sorry about that. What do I need to do?
Technical glitch.
Everything is just blank here from my end. I can't even see myself.
Okay. Let me stop sharing and reshare. I don't know if that will help.
No, if others can see, it might be from my end. Can somebody confirm? Can somebody else confirm? Sister Christiana, can you see? Can you see the presentation slides?
Yes, we can see your presentation slides and we can hear you.
We can still see and hear you.
Okay. Let me try to exit and very quickly join back. I don't know if it's from my end. Obviously, it's from my end, but let me very quickly exit and join back. Thank you.
While we're waiting for her to join back, Ola, I think we have a question on the live chat for Itoro. Maybe we can take that.
Yeah, we could take that now. Let me get to the chat. Okay. Yeah, so it says Toro, and I don't know if Toro is still on here.
I'm back now, and I can see the screen. Can you please confirm you can hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear you, and I can see you on the center.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay, we'll take the question.
Like I said, I've been having issues with my system. That's why Ola is helping to present. Thank you. Next slide, Ola.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that the next? Well, yes, this one. Can you see it on your end?
Yes, I can see. Okay. So in looking at how to effectively collaborate, because this is a key word I get from the workplace, right? It's how when doing interviews, they're asking you a question, how which do you prefer? Do you prefer working doing your own work or working as part of a team? For every interview questions, I don't know if you noticed, they always ask that question. It doesn't hurt at interview stage. As soon as you start work, they watch out for that as well. How do you collaborate with others within your team? How do you collaborate with your peers? How do you collaborate with your managers? So this also goes a long way in the workplace. So we need to be cautious on how we work. Most times, some of us might be accustomed to working in silos, right? We need to ensure that in as much as we are doing our own personal work, within your team or in your department, try to collaborate with others, try to relate with them, try to pick their brains, try to ask them questions, even though you know that I know more than you, but you're just more or less deliberately and being consciously collaborating with others. So more or less like in Canada, teamwork for me is often measured by how people experience working with you every day, not even one day. How they experience working with you every day, not only by the tasks you complete, but also on how you relate and collaborate with them. Try to participate in meetings. Don't just go to meetings and sit there without sharing your own ideas. Don't be afraid to speak out. Irrespective of, my dear, I'll tell you for free, we know more than them. It's not being proud or boastful, but try to speak out. Don't think like is it Barry Torres that Sister Christiana that said the imposter syndrome sometimes might come in, but no, delete that thought. Speak out if you have ideas. Share the ideas. Talk, contribute in meetings, right? One thing many of us I know in the workplace I've noticed is when we know the answer, we stay silent and say, I don't think this is important, right? And make people assume that you're having nothing to contribute. So try as much as possible to share your thoughts, even if you think it doesn't make sense. My dear, somebody else, you might share that thought and somebody else is nodding to say, oh, wonderful, I like that. Also try to listen actively and also respect the opinions of others. Don't just what any of the team members says. Even if you don't agree, you can just nod to say, oh, okay, at least somebody has spoken, right? So that also means collaboration. Collaboration here is not just about talking, but it's also about people. When you pay attention to people when they speak, to whatever it is that they have to say. So try to listen to them. Allow others to finish whatever it is that they're saying. Because most times, one of us, most of us, when people are speaking, because we have something to say, we are not listening to them. You're thinking about what you want to say, so you're not listening to them. They know that you're not listening because it is your own thoughts that you're trying to pass across. So sometimes be deliberate about all of these things. Listen attentively, allow people to finish whatever it is that they're saying, and you can then respond respectfully if you have one or two things to add. Another thing which is also critically important is following through on commitments. In many workplaces, over and over with the HR professionals that I've also spoken to, with friends in the workplace and all of that, people may not remind you, your manager may not remind you of what you need to do. Most times they're even waiting for you to fail. Sorry to use the word fail. But don't expect them to remind you of your deadlines. You've made a commitment. Follow it through. Even if something is going to change, maybe the deadline you can meet up, try as much as possible to meet up with your manager or whoever you've committed the timelines with, to revisit the timelines, right? Give them feedback, give them, don't give excuse. I always tell people not to give excuses. If you cannot meet up with something, just say, oh, unfortunately, something came up. I need to. Don't say excuses of why you can't meet up. I tried to do this. This one was no, 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 no. They are not interested. The result is the bottom line. If you can't meet up with the result, you can't meet up with the deadlines. Try to carry them along. Don't wait for them to come and remind you to say, hey, you committed on this. Where are we on this? No, it's a no, no. The other last thing is on how you need to offer help when appropriate. Sometimes simple support, they say, is like asking a colleague if they need help can build a stronger relationship. Even if you know you are swamped, at times it could be that, oh, is there anything I can help with? Or you can even ask your manager, oh, is there anything I can help with? And then you try to make your own contribution and you move on with that. Next slide, please. We are almost done. Okay, so very quickly, we'll be talking with pitfalls that you need to avoid. Next slide, please. Pitfall you need to avoid in the workplace. This pitfall for me is very, very critical, right? Right. When we are looking at pitfall to avoid, we are talking about what do you need to do? How do you? We talk about collaboration. How do you build collaborative relationship with people? And trust for me is a big one, right? You need to be able to build trust with your team members, build trust with your colleagues, and be consistent with your trust. As you can see, you are rating yourself. Have you met expectation when it comes to trust? Partially, you are increasing. Of course, you're starting with entering the Canadian workplace or starting a new job, they don't know you, so they can't start trusting you. But you need to be able to build that trust along the line and never go down, right? Be able to say things that they can trust. Let your one be one and your two be two, your yes be yes and your no be no. Don't say one to one person and go back and go and tell the other person two. My dear, you never can tell when communication will get to things and they'll be like, oh, she told me one, why is she telling you two? You've broken that trust. So try to be consistent in how trustworthy you can be so that people will listen to what you have to say. They won't tell you they don't trust you. No, they form their opinion is they form their opinion. And trust is very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things that you can rebuild in the workplace. So if that trust is broken, my dear, I tell you for free, it's better for you to go and look for another job than try to rebuild that trust. So never go down. Just it's better for you to be growing gradually. Like I said, partially met, exceeded, significantly exceeded. You will know when you've significantly exceeded your managers trust, right? So next slide, please. The next one is also networking. Networking matters. I say networking matters both inside and outside. Don't be a loner in the workplace. Learn to network with other people and don't network with your people alone. Learn to network with others because you never can tell when you will need that relationship. What I've been able to do, and I would say one of my key um, areas of strength is on how I easily network with people, irrespective of who you are, whether you are the minister, you are the deputy minister. If I'm meeting you, you will form an opinion about me before we leave that meeting. I will very quickly network with you. We will say one thing. I will meet you, reach out to you, ask questions, or say one thing or the other. So that as you're leaving the room, you will remember that I met one African lady. Her name is Zinka. That is the impression that I want to give. So try and network with your professionals. Try and leave a lasting impression, and try and build genuine relationships because you never can tell when you will need those relationships. An example that I will quickly share for you is some people here might know where I worked. My first place that I worked in Canada, as soon as I finished the job, it was my director that consistently to say, "Hey, Nika, there's this job opening. Are you interested? Hey, Nika, I spoke to somebody about you. They said they want to see if are you interested to work here. Just imagine what is going through that director's head to be saying anytime he thinks about HR roles, he's always throwing it to me. Hey, Nika, do you know somebody that is interested in this role? I know somebody that is hiring. Why? Because I've been able to build trust and I've been able to network effectively with him. And in networking, don't network to say, oh, I want to grab things from you. No. As you're grabbing, also be given, right? Because they will remember you for all of those impacts that you've equally made. And not just you taking from them, but you also giving to them. So as you're networking in the workplace, try to also network with people outside the workplace as well. Next slide. Respect, they say, respect, they say, um, respect your boundaries, right? Right, while staying approachable. This is also very, very critically important. Sometimes, they're used to barging in, right? Even if they practice open door policy, you need to be able to know where they draw the lines. If people's doors are open and you feel they're not busy, don't just barge and say, hey, can I pick your brains? You ask respectfully because you never can tell what that person is doing at that particular time. So try to respect boundaries. If people are not getting close, you don't need to force yourself to say, hey, by fire, by force, you must be close in the workplace. No, respect people's boundaries. And also, if you need to create your own boundaries as well, please create that in a very professional and approachable way. That I always see. Next slide. All right. In looking at the skills that we need to build in the workplace, this for me is very, very important and crucial for us to succeed in the workplace. Right. So I look at skills and traits, like things we need to imbibe ourselves. When we talk about resilience, you need to be able to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving. I always tell my colleagues, Africans, Nigerians, we are very resilient people. Nothing they shake us. Sorry to use that word. So basically you need to be resilient. You need to be professional in everything you do. Show respect, be accountable, and ethical behavior, practice or depict ethical behavior in all situations, right? Be adaptable, adjust to your environment, the processes and the ways of work within your team. Another key thing for me also is effective communication. We already talked about communication. Try to speak out, listen, write down things. If you're not clear on things, ask questions respectfully, but practice effective communication. So if you need to improve on that, Google is your friend, YouTube is your friend. Learn how you can effectively communicate in the workplace. Collaboration and teamwork is also very key. I cannot overemphasize this. Work well with others, try to contribute to group success. Be a team player. Don't work in silos. Be a team player, be a problem solver, identify challenges, and try to also meet deadline as well. Yeah. So others I know we can pick up digital mindset, your intercultural, blah blah blah. You can pick up that and just build more on that. More for me on the intercultural is the emotional intelligence. Sometimes we need to that emotional intelligence is very key. Understand and manage your emotions in the workplace, and also respect others as well. Respond well to others' emotions as well. right? Next slide. Conclusion. In conclusion, what I will say is, in the workplace, what we see is success. I would say, right, success in Canada is not just about what you know. It is about how you adapt, you communicate, and you build relationships. Recall on how I mentioned how my previous director is the one that is always reaching out to me to say, "Hey, Yinka, this and this is what is happening." You know, I can pick my phone and call him at any time. You can call me at any time. More like build relationships in the workplace. You never can tell when you will need those relationships. Also, embrace learning. Brother Itero has mentioned, Sister Christian has mentioned on how they continuously learn, evolve. They said the biggest room in the whole wide world is the room for change. So as you're changing, you are evolving, you are learning, right? Stay resilient and stay engaged, and try to continuously get clarity. Don't say, "Oh, this is the way we're working in my previous organization. In this my organization, this is the same way I'll continue working." No, my dear, be sensitive to the environment and see how things is working in these environments that you have, on how you can very quickly adjust, right? Last for me also is on elevate. For you to understand the workplace culture, communication styles is also very key, which gives you the confidence to also stand out and succeed, right? Many a times when my executive directors or the deputy ministers or the assistant deputy ministers calls to say, "Hey, Nika, what do you think about this?" To my mind, before I respond, I'll be like, "God, a whole small girl like me, deputy minister is calling her assistant deputy minister is saying, 'Hey, Nika, what do you think about this?'" You know, little things like that goes a long way to say there's a value in you that that person has recognized, and don't take don't take that opportunity for granted. Immediately as they're picking your brains on something, try to add more to it. Well, the entrepreneurship I met in the previous slide is on you trying to know everything around you. You know, being an entrepreneur is more like you having all of the knowledge of things you need to do. An example is that the CEO of your organization, you know everything that is working, you know everything that you need to succeed in your organization. So in your workplace, in your role, in your team, in your department, whatever it is that is required for you to succeed in your role, please try and be at the top of it, because you never can tell when things will come unexpectedly and then how you share your own value, your opinion, your contributions will surely truly matter in those scenarios. Thank you, and that is all for now. So we can welcome questions.
Thank you, Sister Nika. Let's take questions. I don't know if Brighter is still here. I think I do have 2 questions in the chat box for him. But Sister Christiana, you can give, let's start off with the questions for Sister Nika.
Thank you so much, Taika. I really appreciate there are a few things you pointed out that resonates with me. I'm also a fast talker when I'm excited. So but I've never really paid attention to slow myself down. So it was good hearing you. I know I'm a fast talker, but I just always assume, yeah, they get it. But hearing you talk about it kind of now makes me want to cautiously start reviewing that. But my question is the fine line between networking and small talk. So I used to work hybrid. I work fully remote now, thank God. But I used to work hybrid. I am great at working with other stakeholders. I would help you get to the finish line, even when what you need doesn't directly impact my team. I try to help you get to where you need to be. So I'm great at working with teams. But when it's time for Wednesday coffee break, I don't used to go even because I feel like I don't have anything to say, so I just keep working. Um, is that a bad thing? Given that I'm great at working with teams, like I literally would help you get to your success point. But when it comes to let's gather, drink coffee, and chat, I don't participate in things like
That's a very interesting question and scenario that you painted. Very realistic. I like that. When it comes to small talk, right? I would say that the purpose for small talks is more to build rapport. They are not interested in the thing that you have to say. Neither are you interested in what they have to say. But they are trying to build rapport and build personal connections before work discussions. An example is during meetings on a Monday morning meeting. All we have to do for that Monday morning meeting is to discuss hours of weekend. To my mind, I'll be like, early Monday morning, we are discussing hours of weekend. And you see them gisting about how they traveled, how they took their cat or dog on the world, how they did it. So all of those things really matters. It is the nature of work in Canada. I don't know about other places. It's never our nature in Nigeria, whether you work Big Brother Africa or 247 or through your weekend, or you were doing one day party. Nobody cares. But over here, that small talks really matters. That casual conversations about topics like weather, weekend plans, or hobbies really matters. Even if you say you're not interested or you don't want to be part of it, my dear, try to be part of it because you never can tell when a management decision will be made. And it's that little thing that somebody will use to say, no, no, let's pick, let's go for this person instead of going for Sister Christiana because she doesn't, they won't say because she doesn't do small talks with us or she doesn't. They'll just have one stupid thing to say about it, right? So it's not that you consistently doing the small talk with them. You can chip it in one or two things if you have one line. And also if you have one or two things to contribute, you can ask. When they're talking about their favorite things that matters to them, you can like, wow, fantastic. Oh, that's interesting. Just pass one or two to let them know that, oh, I'm listening because these things matters to them. It doesn't matter to you. It matters to them, but we are in their work environment, not our own work environment. So I would say that small talk really matters. And you relating it with collaboration. Collaboration for me is when you work together to achieve shared goals, right? Working in silos means you are working on your own, but you want to achieve your own goal. Collaboration, you are able to work with your team members. Sometimes you can even go outside your team members, collaborate with somebody in another department to get work done. By the time you are giving your feedback or giving your report, and you put that line, I was able to speak with somebody in information technology or somebody in IT security on this to pick something that relates to your work. And there, in that report, it goes a long way, right? So active participation, active listening, sharing ideas, collaborating to meet commitment is a key thing they really cherish. Like I said, during interviews, they always ask that question. Do you enjoy working as part of a team or you enjoy working alone? They always ask that question. And when you get to the workplace also, they will watch out for that question. And in watching out for it is on how you collaborate with your team members, on how you participate in all of those small little talks, right? Thank you once again
Thank you
for
very
having
much.
me. Okay, do we have any other question? Any more question?
Yeah, I have a
Brontero's
question.
hand is up. Do you have question for Sister Yinka or you want to take your own questions?
No, I have a question for Sister Ika.
Okay, you have the floor.
So I noticed that I'm not sure if this is in every government organization or most corporations, but where I work, they like you talked about small talks, yes. Where in my team, I know that we have a task at hand, but these guys will just stand up and go to the free area and sit down for like 45 minutes and start to chat. And once the lead of the team stands up, everybody will follow, and they are sitting down there and they are chatting away. And I cannot understand that, right? I know that I have something to do that I'm meant to deliver. He also has his own that he's meant to deliver, but they're chatting away. And I've also understood, I kind of see that they are not deliberate about meeting task. They always have a reason to give excuses, and they're okay with it. They say, "Oh, well, sorry, I couldn't make it. I couldn't meet the deadline. Something came up. Something. What came up, Oga? I could see that you left your task and you were talking there. But they have a way to maneuver, like they have a way to talk it, and it to be as if, oh, we've been having a lot of things to do and we couldn't meet up. But me, I don't have that luxury to go and follow. That kind of small talk is not for me, right? But for example, sometimes they just put on the team chat coffee by 8 a.m. What kind of coffee by 8 a.m. is that? Sorry, I cannot meet up. But once in a while, I try to go. So it's not be like Itoro does not. But I cannot do too much, please. I hope I'm okay.
But I totally are safe. I like the fact that you said once in a while. It is when you don't even be part of it that it's a no-no for me. An example is in my former workplace, every Thursday they always go to the bar to drink. I am not an alcohol person, right? So I just realized that consistently every Thursday I don't follow them out. I myself realized it. And how did I realize? On Friday when we were having our meeting, and they'll just be chisting about what happened on Thursday, and I'll be lost to say, hey, what happened on Thursday? I wasn't part of it. So I now said, you know what, maybe Nika once in a while, it could be once a month. Then I now started following them. And when I go with them, what do I take? Water. I'm okay with my water. I'll just take the water and I contribute. And I always tell them, most times I would deliberately tell them, oh, I have something to do after, or I'll just leave. So that I'll just give myself 20 minutes or max 30 minutes, get out of the environment. They can be there all through the night, but that Thursday I always have something to do after. So that's just being part of it. But I like the hand where you said they leave what they need to do, give excuses and not deliver on the task that is at hand. My dear, don't let their behavior distract you. Always remember that we are different from them. We shouldn't forget that, right? An example is on how I relate it to my children. An example, you know how they dress over here. They dress in a very funny way, both in the workplace and outside. For my children going to school, we see people in their school wearing pajamas to school, wearing slippers, crocs, and all of those things to school. And I always tell my kids, you are not them. So never ever see yourself as them. Don't dress like them. This is the way you should dress, and you will be consistent with whatever it is. If it is for you to cack up from head to toe, wear your trainers, wear everything, cack up, go to work, be different. You are a kingdom influencer. Cack up and do that. They are not them. So in the workplace, when you see them doing all of those small talk, leaving their deadline, my dear, by the time they're giving their own excuses, they will check it for them. But if you give that same excuse, somebody else is recording it for you. So stay focused on your own responsibility. Don't let their behavior distract you. Try to meet up with your own deadlines. Don't give their own excuse. Don't give that excuse. If you cannot meet up with deadline, like I said, don't give excuse. I'm an HR professional. I know what I'm saying. Don't give excuse for not meeting up with deadline. Let them know a reason. A very good reason is, oh, unfortunately, I was unable to meet up this, but give them way we will meet up. But I'm looking at us meeting and shooting the time. I hope it's fine. But never give excuse of da. Because that point they're using to give that excuse, almost they're taking notes of those things. But because they don't have the reason why, they themselves can say, hey, maybe she's overwhelmed, maybe she's swamped, maybe she's this. I trust her. But that is always meeting up with deadline, blah blah blah. But never give an excuse, because next time when you don't meet deadlines, they're waiting for you to give another excuse. I don't know if I'm making a point, right? So always keep track of things, and don't let, like I said, don't let their own behavior distract you. That small talk, I'll forever say it is crucial and it is important. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions for Sister Nika before we take the last two in the chat box? Okay, I think there's something that has just come in. It says, as a co-op student, looking to get a footing in the sector, I don't know if it's my resume causing the rejections. What do HRs look for while reviewing the various resumes that have been listed? Is it HR's final decision to hire an individual or not?
That's a very good question, but outside the scope of our presentation. But I'm going to respond to the question basically. So first for you is to know that it's not HR responsibilities to make the final decision. HR doesn't even screen resume in today's workplace. HR don't have any say. It's the hiring managers, it's the recruiter. Sometimes organizations give this recruiting and screening to the hiring managers, to recruiters outside. So your hiring managers are responsible, the recruiters are responsible. For your resume, we have a section that we've done previously on resume writing. Whoever this person is can maybe reach out to her, send a mail to the CareerLeap, which I will drop in the chat. CareerLeap email, and let's see how we can help you look at your resume. Sometimes it's the resume that you need to fine tune for you to be able to get for the rejection rates to reduce. So we can look at your resume, we can help you review it. Of course, in CareerLeap, part of what we do is assisting people to revamp their resume, tweak their resume, and make it in Canada standard, basically. So you might need to look at what what it is on the resume and how you are developing your resume for the role, because sometimes you need to target that application that you're looking to apply for. It's not just you having one resume and using it to apply for so many jobs. You need to be able to target your resume to the application that you're looking for. So you can contact us. Like I said, I'll drop the CareerLeap email address here so that we can all have it, and the person can send an email and we see how we can help the person to review his or her resume.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions for Sister Nyinka? Okay, Roy Toro, I believe there are 2 questions that has come in over the last couple of minutes for you. The first one I can see here says, the question is for Broitoro or anyone that can answer. The corporate life can be stressful. So my question is, how do you find time to build capacity for yourself in order to increase your finances? Because in as much as you earn a certain amount, it may not be enough by the time you factor in expenses and all that. So how do we elevate our finances or build something for ourselves, even as we build for the organization that we work in? Thank you. Okay, I think you're not muted, Brotoro, so we can't hear you yet.
Okay. Well, that question, that question is kind of, I'm not sure how to answer it, but we all understand that in Canada, your 8 to 5 is hardly enough for you to build wealth for yourself. So you have to you have to be able to figure that out. Aside from your 8 to 5, what are the other things you could do to complement your income? People sell things on Facebook Marketplace. People do different things, right? Some people sell food, some people cook. For me, sometimes I flip cars. I'm giving people my cheats now. Sometimes I buy cars. I buy cars on Facebook. I fix it, I sell it. People do different things, right? And this is just Canada. There are opportunities. Sometimes I import things from China to sell, right? You need to just figure that out. 8 to 5, I don't think it's going to make you rich. You might be okay, but in Canada, 8 to 5 is hardly going to make you rich. Even if you are earning 250K, they will slam you that tax on it. So you have to understand that 8 to 5 will not really make you wealthy here in Canada. You have to be able to figure that out on how to generate your own wealth. And that's the personal stuff. You need to research. There's a lot of research to do. That is not this today is not for that, right? But you need to be able to figure that out. There's AI. Research on what you can do, what you can do, and yeah. So anybody also has some things to chip in. If you have a house, you can rent a room in it.
Yeah.
Right? Rent a room in your house, or start to do Airbnb or something like that to add some income to your pockets. If you have a car, you can use it for Uber after work. You add some money also to your pocket.
Yeah. Just to chip into what Brother Itoro said, I think what is critical to this question that this person asks is, what are you passionate about? What do you enjoy doing? Because if you want to do any side gig, let it come from a place of what you enjoy doing, so that it's more of you doing something you enjoy and earning from it. So ask yourself, what do you enjoy doing, and do your research. Ask AI, go to YouTube, type that thing in and see how you can monetize that thing, basically. But yeah, Brother Itoro nailed it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. But Itoro, there's one more question here for you. It says, what's the free certification you mentioned that one can start with in cybersecurity?
Well, just one step ahead of this guy. I just posted the link.
Nice. Okay, sounds good. Do we have any other questions? And it can be for any of the speakers. Just if something has come up in your mind that you're hoping to get clarity on, might be a good time as we look to wrap up today. And while we're waiting to see if there are questions, I just wanted to say thank you to all three speakers today. Thank you for sharing your experiences, for bringing very valuable insights. I think one thing that is certain today is you all have shared from a place of experience. They're very relatable things. We're not thinking, does this apply to me? Or anybody didn't come sounding so far off. They're things that we all can take away. And so it's important that we get that opportunity to do that. And just talking about takeaways, I wanted to mention that we're sharing, so this session is also on YouTube. It's a good opportunity if you think you've missed a point to go back and rewatch and make sure that you take all the notes. If you do have questions after now, Sister Nika also shared the email address for the CareerLeap piece. So go ahead, send your questions if anything comes up after now. As I'm talking, I'm trying to follow up on the chat. I think Apostle dropped something. So I'm trying to follow up on that. It says, how do I, as an apostle, go back to 8 to 5? Will I be hired? I'm trying to see who best in the room fits to answer that question, but I don't think I'm equipped to answer it.
Of course, it would definitely be hired. Our apostle has a lot of skills that you can.
The skills have not gone away; they're still there.
A lot of transferable skills that you can use to transition into 9 to 5 basically. Can you hear me?
Yes. I have a question from Sister Lola here. The Canadian work culture could be passive and aggressive. How can we navigate this? Not being direct with feedback in a bid to remain polite. Sister Yinka, I think that would be a good question for you.
Can you come again with the question?
So it says the Canadian work culture can be passive aggressive. How do we navigate this? You want to try and be direct, but you want to remain polite. How do you balance that?
Okay. So in being direct, let me think about the best way to answer this. Okay. You said the Canadian work culture can be passive and aggressive, right? How do we navigate this, right?
Yeah.
So in navigating this, first for me is which work environment are you in? Right? That's the first question that should come to mind. The work environment that you have, because looking at Canadian work culture on its own, it's broad. So you need to very quickly understand the work culture that you are in, right? Passive aggressive behavior sometimes is often indirect. People may avoid saying no, or people are, expressing disagreements clearly. Some environments, your manager can be somebody that express disagreement clearly. Some environments, some managers can be somebody that is, very strict, right? So instead of you saying, "Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that," you need to be able to interpret the environment that you are in, right? Clarify expectations politely and respectfully. I always say, clarify expectations politely and respectfully. If you feel you're working with a new manager that you kind of don't understand his leadership style, ask questions from people that have been there. You can even speak to the manager during your one-on-one to ask questions. Okay, so I understand during our conversation yesterday or last week you did mention blah blah blah. What exactly do you mean? I think this is what you mean. What exactly? So by you asking that question, the person will know that hey, this person has EI. The emotional intelligence is on, is not off, and the person will be able to break it down. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, then the person will still might not go straight, but will kind of pass the message in a way that you will understand. So don't assume, always ask questions, address things in a very respectful and polite manner. Like I said, they read in between the lines and try not to document things. If you know things are not too clear for you, go and ask first. And when you want to document, come back and document when you know that you've gotten clarity. And don't put things down in words so much. Because sometimes, when we are typing things, we tend to write And then when they're picking the lines, they're reading the sentence one at a time, and they can misinterpret things. So when you're writing things down, responding via feedback, documenting things via email, ensure that you are very, very clear on what the message that you're trying to pass across. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Thank you. There's one question here for Bro Itoro. Okay, and I think he's responded in the chat. Thank you for being proactive.
I wanted to say something in addition to what Sister Yinka said and just share my experience. I think in passive aggressive feedbacks, understanding the audience and the room is very important. And I'll share a personal experience, and I was on the other side. So in the community I belong to, I have the opportunity to listen to demos and give feedback. And I'm a very straightforward person when I'm in a corporate environment. Like I just say it straight up and I'm moving. And I had done that in a previous class and it went well. And I did the same thing in another class and everybody came for me. And it took a lot to regain the trust of the audience because they felt I was being rude. I didn't need to say it like that. There were better ways to have communicated my their lack of understanding for the platform. So while it's great to give feedbacks, it's also great to be able to understand the room you're communicating with and maybe work at that frequency or that level when giving feedbacks. My 2 cents.
Okay.
Thank you very much for
Thank
that.
you so
That's very
much.
valuable.
The summary from both of you is always read the room.
Yeah.
Read the room and then take your cue from there to know how to act, how to share feedback, how to communicate, and every other thing. Thank you. Do we have any more questions as we look to wrap up for today? We've had so much insight, and I was just saying thank you to all three speakers. You've brought different perspectives, different insights, and everything has been so valuable. Thank you for how freely you've shared. Thank you for, and I'm sure, I mean, I am not even in a phase of, for instance, clarity, but there's still a couple of things you can take away. So I kind of feel like regardless of where you fall in your career, you would have had lots and lots to take away from today's Career Leap weekend. Thank you to, and it's just kudos to all three. Thank you so, so much. I see all the reactions coming in. Thank you. And if you really, really enjoyed today, go in the
Sorry,
chat box
can I
and say
give
thank you.
can I give, is it possible you guys let me give like a parting shot or something?
I kind of, a pattern, sorry, sir, I think I missed that.
Would you guys let me, I'd like to give a parting shot, just to give a thought on all that's been shared so far.
Absolutely.
That you'd, sorry, I want to switch my device. Sorry about that. Uh,
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
I want to, sorry about that. Yeah, can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I just would like to say, from our own, or rather, let me begin like this. Sorry, I'm trying to connect my Bluetooth, but I don't know why. Please, sorry, forgive me, please. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear
Oh,
you.
beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Let me start by saying a big thank you, to each and every one of you. We've had multiple sessions, of career programs or career, coaching sessions as this. In my estimation, all of them have been fantastic, but I'd say that this particular one is quite very striking for me. Okay, and the reason why it's striking, sorry, I'm also stepping out, so you may hear some sounds shortly. All right. The reason is simply because these guys, that Minister Shehu, Sister Yinka, and the team are brought on that eToro, specifically, and Nora. All right. There is no air. I believe without any contradiction that everything shared today is something everybody needs and everybody can relate to. And what I mean by that is that, you're not listening to someone who's just telling you, who is very out there and who's just telling you, stories, and all of that. You're meeting people, all right, who have stories to tell. A scripture came to my mind when the session was going. You guys will forgive me. I'm an apostle. Can relate to. So I want to say thank you. And it's one of the reasons why we've made the stream live on YouTube, just such that everybody can go, go back and go and watch. But for the attendees,
I think we lost Apostles.
oh, you lost me. Sorry, I stepped
Yes,
out of the
for
house.
a couple seconds.
Move on.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, sorry. What was the last thing you heard me say?
For the attendees, that's the last.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, so I think okay. So let me go back to that. So for the attendees, this is my counsel. And this is coming from someone who worked in the system and to the glory of God, at a very senior level with a crown corporation for that matter. Listen, it is your responsibility to be so loaded that you are not scared of being fired. That's my parting shot to you. It is your responsibility. And I'm speaking to you from expert. Listen, get all the certifications you need to get, do all the trainings you need to get, do all the coachings you need to do, get, all that, have right attitude towards your work, be diligent at what you do, honor people, celebrate your bosses and your, your, subordinates or, juniors. I mean, if you attend Lofty Heights Christian Center, all these values I'm reeling out right now, they're not new to you. There are things we teach, as a ministry. All right. You can be all these things, and you get to that point where you don't give a hoot, not because you want to be fired, but because you are covered. You know what I'm saying? So everybody wants someone that is valuable. Just to make sure that the reason why you're being laid off, all right, it's not as a result of poor performance. Like I keep saying to those who attend last year, for example, all right, if it happens once, it can be excusable. Second time, third time, they're firing you from a place of work and they're telling you the reason is because of poor performance. No, something needs to be done. Like Itoro, alluded to earlier, you have the spirit advantage. You cannot be in there, and many of these guys who don't even have Christ on their inside, who don't have the Holy Spirit, all right, will be the one teaching you what to do and how to go about the things that you want to do. I will recommend to you on this same YouTube channel a series on the Holy Spirit titled The Enabler. Please go and watch it. One of the responsibilities or the functions of the Holy Spirit in the life of a believer, it is his ability and desire to teach in man anything. Anything. I was coming in and out of all the sessions and I heard, some of the parts, that Itoro had shared. right? eToro's story is something most people, even in the church, they know. The guy has never been silent about it. He stands on the altar to testify. He shares to whoever, just to charge, just to encourage, just to push anybody. And listen, based on what I know, if eToro can do it, anybody can do it. The Holy Spirit teaches you everything and anything. Your desire, your responsibility, cooperation, and partnership with Him. There is no one that is in Christ Jesus who desires to know anything that you don't have the capacity to know with the help of the Holy Spirit, provided that thing is in line with God's will for your life. So engage Him. Let Him teach you. Sometimes, even while I was working then, they give me projects to work on. I don't have jack idea. You know what was worse about the level which I operated at? Even my boss giving me the job, she does not know it. And these are not things you're going to find easily online. So I'll go on my knees every morning I get to work. I'd ask for the fresh baptism of the Spirit of wisdom, grace to excel. And I'll say to the Lord, Lord, I'm here and I know you planted me here. Let your light shine through me. And I see that beginning to play out. Then I'll go and deliver to my boss. And then she say, oh, wow, Terji. Oh, wow, Terji. Oh, and she'll be sounding like ambulance. Although they'll say, what's wrong with this one? And all of that. So that is my parting shot to you guys. You keep yourself so many people go to work every Monday morning. You'll be wondering, maybe this is going to be the last day at your work. Listen, in Christ Jesus, there is no fear of death. If in Christ there is no fear of death, as terrible as death may be, why should I have fear of lack for your job? Why? Especially if you're a kingdom steward. You are the one who tithes, who gives, the same job you're doing, all right, that God is blessing you with. You're advancing kingdoms. Let's see the person who will fire you. And then let's see, even if the firing takes place, if it will not lead to an elevation for you. That's all that I think I have to say. Many believers are very lazy. They take things easy. I don't teach. Whatever will be will never be. It is your responsibility to fighting things out. And you have the ability. Don't be lazy. The year is still very fresh. This is March. You heard somebody saying they spent $3,500, on certification. Somebody is doing 12 certifications and all of that. Go and add to yours. You cannot be on the same job for 2 years. You've not added one single certification to yourself. There are free courses you can take online. So be so hard, be so loaded, be so determined, be so prompt, be so gifted, be so certified, be so experienced, be so skilled, such that even if they have to let you go, to be a loss to them. And their competitors will be looking at you and say, hey, come on, we need you here, we need you here. All right, so that's all I would say. If Allah, Sister Yinka, Minister Shu will permit me, just before I leave, I'd like to declare a word of blessing over everybody. Okay, I hope that's fine, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Father, thank you for this session today. Thank you for the speakers. Thank you for the team that you used to putting this together. This is my desire, oh God, that this will not be a mere session, or even if it's just one person. That as a result of this session this morning, somebody will take a decision. Somebody will make up their minds. Somebody will choose to be different. Somebody will choose to go ahead and pursue that career that they've always wanted to do. Somebody will believe more in you and knowing, that with you, anything is possible. And my Lord, as they take that bold step, please encourage them. Show them token of your good. In the process, the same way you've done for eToro Saga, please do for these ones. Show them signs. Send the right connections to them, the right people that will connect them to the right people. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Our desire, Father, is that you alone be glorified in all that we do. We give you praise for more. In Jesus' name. Amen and amen. God bless you. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Celebrate you.
Can we see all your reactions? Thank you so much for the parting shirt, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. And this brings CareerLeap to an end this weekend. Just wanted to say thank you for everyone who showed up. Thank you for participating. Thank you to our awesome and amazing speakers today. Thanks to the entire team. We see you again for the next, but until then, keep shining, keep thriving, keep being the best that God wants you to be. Thank you.